Hello, everyone. Welcome to Explore the Beyond. Ancient Unknowns, Episode 3. It's much excite. We have hopefully a good session in store for you today. We'll wait and see. Make sure I go to the right thing. Here we are. Nice. Yeah. It's going to be a good one. We've got an interesting scenario starting off. Let's unmute that. Hello, everyone. Don't say hello yet because I haven't unmuted you.
Hello? No?
There we go.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. Yathina, why don't you do us the honours of doing a bit of a recap for me?
I have not rehearsed this, so it's going to be really bad, and I don't remember anything that happened. But, oh shit, sorry, I have you still on in the background, and that's confusing me. Okay, there we go. So yeah, we started out when we were already in the swamp, where we had gone to the previous episode, and we were facing off this stone giant who was pulling himself out of the ground. He's about 14 feet tall. And yeah, we fight him and eventually get him down and defeat him. And then it's a little bit of riddle of what to do next. What do we want to do next? How are we going to approach this whole thing? I go to investigate the next islands over to see what is going on with, the islands with the rocks. We do notice that we noticed at the previous session as well that the flames of the torches behaved a little weirdly, but because none of us is smart enough, we didn't really make a connection there. And then I took a swim on one of my Breck. Was it Breck or was it Rando who cast something to make all the undead in the water go away, and I decided to take a swim. And then I really don't remember what happened. And then I passed that barrier from where the water is clear to where the water is murky, and I get pulled in. Essentially, I almost drown, but luckily, I think Breckec helps me, but I get out again. And then we get to the next island where there's 2 rocks on the island. Upon investigating the rocks, we figure out there's something weird with them. They don't sound necessarily like rocks, but we don't really figure out how to do anything with them, how to approach them. While we do that, we see the cultists approach in the distance. We see that one of them has their hood up, and as they're approaching, we see that they have a cart, and there's stuff on the cart, or a wagon even. We wait for them. Breckec fuses with the stone or with the rock, while Rando and I go into the woods, or try to blend in the woods and try to hide there and to ambush them. When the cultists approach the island that we're on, they knock on the rock, and the rock sort of opens and reveals that there is a way downstairs. Breckec thinks that we are knocking on the rock because that was our sign to say everything is fine, everything is clear, he can come out. And he comes out and faces off with the cultists. And yeah, a fight ensues because they are like, oh shit, intruders. I wrote down in quotation marks, okay, I guess we're fighting now. We do fight them. And we take one of them hostage, the one that had his hood up. And we then go underground to the cabin underground. And we find out that there's a little bit of a lair downstairs with bedrolls and camp equipment and campfires and stuff. We do also open the crates and find out that there's some sort of gray and blue matter in there, and it smells disgusting. And something is in the barrel, some sort of liquidy, thick yellow liquidy stuff. It's also disgusting. Oh, Breck, you tasted it, right? And it sort of poisoned you. We then go down with the hostage to the cave. We take the hood down. He has no eyes. He's also unconscious. And then we decide to, or Sarador decides to cast Zone of Truth. And we tie him up. And that's where the session ends. We want to go and interrogate him now.
Okay. We rejoin with the three of you surrounding this semi-conscious humanish figure with like eyes missing, left ear missing, or at least eyes sort of stitched over, and the breathing is ragged and shallow. There's not, he's breathing heavily from being revived from unconsciousness, and he sort of looks up and around, and then looks back down. You can talk now.
So I believe we had a gag in his mouth. I look to Sarador and say, "Ready?" And
Yes.
and remove the gag.
So I guess everyone needs to make a charisma DC 15 save if you can from the right hand side.
I'm not gonna try and save.
Okay.
I'm not going to try and save either.
Okay.
I'm not the one who's being interrogated, and I don't think she would even be like, oh,
So I'll do it. I'll do it as well. Why not? But you won't know if I have or not. My charisma saving throw is obscene. Yeah.
Unfortunately, he succeeded too.
He did. So do we decide that he's now succeeded forever, or is it because he starts his next turn in it, he has to go again?
If you wish to force your will upon him,
Mm-hmm.
you can continue to try and get him to save.
Yep.
So, like next turn, I don't think it says whether he succeeds. Does it?
It
say?
does at the bottom, yeah.
An effective creature is aware of the spell.
But before that, you know whether each creature succeeds or fails on its saving throw.
Okay, so you're aware that Temerity and Breckec have like willingly given themselves over, but you're also aware that the creature you're aiming for, despite being barely conscious, is also kind of holding out, like seems to have his mind closed off to you right now.
Okay, so no, I know he's not done it already, so I'm going to ask him the first question anyway, knowing that it's going to take another hit from it in a minute, so I can re-ask him again if I want to. But I'm going to ask him. So, what is this place, and what are you transporting here?
He looks up, and again looks round, and his light face stares directly up at you, despite not being able to see. You'd think, like, despite having no eyes. And there's a sort of second or two of pause before. This is an outpost.
Okay. Yep. And you're bringing out that. What is it you're bringing here? Like, I don't understand. You're bringing some weird poison out from the center?
Not poison, no.
Tastes like crap.
Yeah, you guys can ask as well.
I gave it a nice taste. not good.
If it's not poison, what is it?
No reply.
Has it been 6 seconds yet?
Yes. Yes, it has. Roll a charisma check for me, please, Sarador. Okay. You refocus your spell, and with your focus sort of with your focus refocused, great English, it forces him to make another save, which he fails. Coming back to more stable consciousness, the severity of his predicament sort of seems to sink in, and you capitalize. And at that moment, that's when you force the issue, and you can feel the spell take hold. And as long as you maintain some level of concentration, strictly speaking, then you know you're going to be able to keep hold of the zone of truth around him.
Okay. Come on. Tell me, what is it? What's it for? Is it like supposed to be some kind of weapon? Is it some kind of food for something? Is it... You're trying to create something with it?
No.
And tell us what it is for.
Maybe ask one question at a time.
Yeah. What's it for?
Nothing.
Does one of you want to try to encourage?
I don't want to try to encourage yet. I'm just going to ask him a question too. What's your name?
As you ask that, I reach over and pull his hood down a little violently, just to expose his whole business.
I have no name.
Did you once have a name?
Perhaps.
And that is... And I put a hand on his head. Reaching up, I assume, from my height. Very intimidating.
I imagine you've dragged a stool over and you're standing over it.
Yeah.
Standing on it.
That crate over there with the cheese by it or whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. It's a bag of something. Doesn't reply.
Okay, with that, I'll go ahead and cast suggestion.
Okay.
Still hand on his head.
What do you wish to suggest?
And I say, you really want to answer our questions. You know it's what's best.
Okay.
So, what was your name?
Marin.
And how did you come to lose your name?
Initiation.
You seem more initiated than your friends were. Do they all have no name? Or is that something special?
Some have some don't.
So what is it you're bringing? Those barrels, those crates, where are you bringing them?
Leavings. Anywhere.
So
Are
is
they
it... Yeah, is it kind of like a byproduct of something then? Is it disposing of it?
In a sense.
Are they tainted and you are spreading the taint, or you're just getting rid of them?
Perhaps.
And from where do those come?
The pyramid.
What's inside the pyramid?
The head kind of shifts around to you, and like the eyes that aren't there seem to meet yours as you're looking down at him, tied up on the chair. And there's a sort of like sick smile that crosses his face, and his head tilts to the side slightly. Nothing good.
If one wanted to get into your territory, how would we get in there without being found?
You don't.
When you are initiated into the cult of Senefi, besides the ear, besides maybe losing your name, what else is involved with initiation?
There's a moment, even with the 2 spells cast upon him, there's a significant delay in answering, and you can all make an insight check if you like.
Of course, yeah.
Wow.
You have +8 as well. How insane is that?
The best insight rolls a 1. It's difficult to gauge what causes the delay. On one hand, since suggestion, he's answered every question. But now he seems almost unable to answer. Be it through not really knowing, perhaps, or not remembering. It's difficult to tell with low rolls like that.
Okay. So, you say that there's no way we get in there without people knowing, but there must be. How do you tell that someone snuck in or that someone's inside?
We see.
What,
We
with
feel.
eyes? So you guys, so you can sense that someone who doesn't belong is there.
He doesn't answer directly, but he does kind of nod his head. Kind of perhaps, probably kind of way.
How would we hide ourselves from that?
There's another pause. Different to the first time. This time, it's almost like he's genuinely trying to think of an answer. There is no way to avoid. We can tell when someone enters, and we can tell when someone leaves.
And you can tell how many in number as well?
We feel all.
Pray that you can recognize one of your own through this feeling.
If your senses are tuned enough, yes.
How can we become part of the cult of Semefi?
You must be chosen. And if you're
How
chosen,
I... Good.
if you're chosen, then it happens. And if you decline, the end comes quick.
How are you being chosen?
There's another pause. I don't know.
Who chooses?
Semefi.
And who or what is Semefi?
There's another sort of smile, turns his head straight back in front to you, and almost like leans far forwards, almost like he's going to try and whisper in your ear, and then just starts laughing. Make an Arcana check. That's better. You can, now that he's getting close and you've asked him a question that he should not be able to, like, he should be answering, you've magically, through multiple means, sort of forced him to answer your questions, and that he isn't. This is a question that he seems to be either avoiding the answer, or avoiding answering, or with the 22, you can see that there's something magical about him that is stopping him from answering.
Something else is affecting his will besides us.
Yeah, and it's overpowering your magic. And it's either, it doesn't seem to be a spell per se, more of an effect that consistently lingers.
Is there anything on you or your friends which identifies you as the chosen of Semefi, besides obviously the ears, the eyes? Some token?
Our robes. Otherwise, it's fairly obvious.
So about this outpost, you saw our bonfire out there.
Yes.
The undead in this area, is that your doing?
Not my doing.
The cult, I mean.
Quite possibly.
Is that tied to the deliveries in the cart?
No.
Is it protection?
No.
How much time has passed, by the way?
About 5 minutes.
Okay.
He seems fairly passive at this point. Aside from like leaning into Breck's face, he doesn't really make any moves. He's basically just moving his head to whomever is speaking to him at that time. Otherwise, he's just passively sat on this chair. He seems relaxed almost.
Has anyone ever failed to return with a shipment? After a shipment to here?
No.
How might your friends react when you're not back on time?
Poorly.
Is there anything you fear?
Again, you get the same sense from the silence that he is unable to answer, or something is repressing an answer. And then he shifts forwards again in his seat. What do you fear, gnome? Make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, okay.
Oh no.
You've got plus 12.
Right.
Hey, Rando.
Yeah.
What are you thinking right now? Like, what surface thoughts are going through your head?
I mean, mostly fixated on the fact that I've now noticed that he is not just unwilling normally, but unable, it seems, to answer the questions. And so specifically, I'm ruminating on the what's in the pyramid, what is Semiphi, and what all might be involved with. And more specifically, as I'm beginning to panic a little bit, I keep thinking maybe we're being watched, and maybe we shouldn't stick around too long.
Okay. Why?
And I'm thinking, and I guess, being asked what I'm afraid of, I do think back to being grasped in that water.
Okay. You, like, as he's leaning forward and asks the question, there's a sort of slight pause, and then you feel your brain kind of, almost like when you get a head cold and you have like that fuzzy feeling, you feel a little bit kind of out of step from yourself, almost like your eyes aren't focused and there's like two perspectives. You feel like you're taken away slightly and something else is taking control of your brain. And then you just see flashes in front of your vision, basically, of Genesis, of the Silent Partners, of your journey here, of your encounters in the water, in the swamp in general, with the giants, leading literally up to this moment where your perspective kind of shifts between them, almost like you're zooming through like a VR game, and then your perspective basically comes to where you are now, and you rejoin your body, and you come back, and the person in the chair just sort of takes a deep breath, nods their head.
If I have free will at this point, I'm going to say, I think he just read my mind.
I knock him out.
I'm worried it's not just him.
I knock him out. I punch him in the face.
Okay, he's tied up. It's not difficult to do. You knock him out cold, and he's sort of, his body hangs limp.
I think we're in trouble, and I'm not sure the way out. If I understood what happened to me, do I understand what I just experienced? I felt that probing.
In a sense, you know that someone was just in your brain, like picking through your brain. And
everything.
It didn't go deeper than, you know, the last sort of day or two. But that's enough to kind of give at least this person a good idea of what's happening or what is going on.
We were not to implicate the partners in our actions, and I believe he at least now knows everything with our involvement with their involvement with us and our goals, and I don't know that message hasn't left this room.
Maybe. See, why'd they read your mind if they? They must have another way of getting information. If they would have, because he obviously knows he's going to die.
He was very calm, and his ability to resist answering makes me think there may be some tether to him from the cult.
Well, we better make sure he can't send us. Just in case they're not tethered, we make sure they can't cast a spell. Maybe it's time just to finish the job. I don't know what other answers we can really get from them. We know that it's not easy just to sneak in. We knew it wasn't anyway, but we know that they'll sense us.
Make an intelligence check.
Who?
Sarado. Sorry. Oh,
-1.
it was dangling on 8. It was dangling on 19. Yeah, you have no idea how they could sense you, but you know, with the amount of magic and spells put on him, they can. They definitely must be able to.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. And there's already a pile of bodies. I don't know what we do with them. But certainly I think this nice, still semi-intact robe is of value. So whatever we do, let's make sure it's not too messy.
Well,
Let's throw them in the water.
Yeah, I think we just throw the bodies in the water, but take at least 3 cloaks. Didn't someone do some mending on one last week?
I took some time and mended at least 1 robe.
We can get a 3 in good enough condition. It's something, I guess. Throw the bodies in the water. Because you said you can speak with dead, means they probably can as well. So maybe he's hoping that he'll be used after death if they come and find his body, if not tethered.
If you can speak with the dead, I don't know if we tried this in the last 2 sessions, but can you try to speak to the water?
I can, but I'm not. Would I know whether that would work or not?
Who knows? We can try.
I'm asking GM. Is that my familiarity with speaking with dead? I have used a lot in finding corpses on my way from the Underdark.
Well, let's put it this way. It's down to you whether you want to try or not. But from what you've experienced so far on this journey into this swamp, whenever you've cast your channel divinity, the water is cleared up. So on some level, there is undead in the water. And if there are undead, it stands to reason that there are dead. So it's up to you whether you would know if that would work or not. It's not necessarily a thing for me to tell you.
I think I would know.
Okay. So, I mean, from your understanding, it's perfectly reasonable that you might be able to find something out. It depends. The one thing you don't know is what kind of corpses, what kind of undead are in there.
Right.
But I mean,
and if they would have any intelligence or any tie, or if they're people like us that fell into the trap and died.
Yeah. But let's be honest, when you have nothing to go on, something is better than nothing.
So, yes, I could do that. What do you think? What do you think we could gain from them?
Maybe they can tell us what this place is. Why do the cultists come here? Do they throw anything into the water? Who are these undead? If the cultists haven't placed them there, or if they're not here for protection's sake, who are they? Why are they here? What is this hideout for? Maybe they don't know that specifically. Maybe they're old cultists. Who knows?
If you ask questions, how do you get your answers from the dead? In your head? Because I'm wondering, if you ask questions to something dead in water, one, would they hear you? And two, would you hear their answer?
I believe we would all hear.
When you've cast in the past, it's always been on like a corpse that has been like magically inclined to reply. It might end up working differently when it's more of a disembodied creature that you're trying to talk to.
Wait, now reading the spell text can't be undead and must still have a mouth, so I would need to find a semi-intact dead to answer.
Okay.
I can link the.
Well, that answers that. Then you can't just ask the water for stuff.
Right. I can't.
All right.
And with a nat 20, I know that.
With a nat 20, you know that. Well, with a 27, you definitely know that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Perhaps the giant, but I've also thought we did see tracks looking like they may go deeper, and they had only unloaded the chests of food here, correct? They did this time. The pus bucket and everything was still on there when we interrupted them.
Yes, as far as you know, or this time at least, they had only unloaded the crates. It's unclear whether they were going to carry on or whether this was their final destination.
Right.
Because, you got drawn out.
What we also don't know is, so there was 4 of them who were in the caravan. Mm-hmm. This dude, and then 3 of the normal ones. And there was 2 in this place, I think. Mm-hmm. So why are people here? Why are people, staying in this place? What's the point of being in this outpost?
Who knows?
Got a bit more time. We got 8 hours on that suggestion.
Yeah.
And suggestion Zone of Truth is only 10 though. 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Once
it
gone,
is running out at this point.
Yeah.
You're getting to 8 or 9 minutes, so you've got about a minute left of Zone of Truth.
I don't think there's a point asking him any more questions. He has any sort of he has some sort of magical, as Breck said, means to protect. We found okay.
I stuff the gag back in his mouth so that if he does regain consciousness, he's at least not speaking immediately.
Sorry, my brain is all over the place. What I'm trying to say is, we gained some valuable information. Maybe not everything that we want to know, but we did gain some valuable information. And anything that goes deeper than this, he will probably not be able to answer, so he's disposable to us.
Yeah, I think we just kill and get rid of all the bodies.
Yeah.
And then decide what we want to do. Do you want to do you want to stay in here for the night?
I do know that, from my experience, speaking with the dead is most possible when they're intact. So might I suggest, after we exsanguinate him,
That's right.
thank you. Maybe we also desecrate his body just a bit, just the skull at least. Fragments are harder to commune with.
So you,
Oh, okay, you're saying so cut his head off and maybe smash it in so people can talk to him. Yeah.
Maybe I will even keep a piece of his jawbone, just so that the complete set's not here.
That's fine. I'll keep some teeth as souvenirs. What you can do though, how often can you speak with dead people?
I can do it a couple times still today.
Then you're going upstairs.
Okay. Before I go upstairs, I assume you're going to do the messy stuff. I do take a minute, sit at the table, and basically write a little longer. I had written some very hasty messages before, but a little longer of, we found the crates, the answers to these questions, and I do say my mind was read. They may be. I don't know how far that leak of the partner's involvement may have gone. And I send that.
Okay.
And then, so what do you want me to do upstairs?
Talk to the five people. Yeah, talk to them and see if you can get anything out of them. Maybe they're a little bit more forthcoming now that they're dead.
I can do that. I would rather stick together. So maybe we clean this mess up first.
I will make a point for you before you go and do that, just to try and help you out. The ones that are left upstairs look like the lackeys of the one you were just interrogating.
So there's no point talking to all of them, just talk to one of them.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no reason not to talk to at least one, just in case, you never know. But talking to all of them probably wouldn't gain you anything more than...
Yeah. And so we take a minute to finish this guy off. I don't know who wants...
Well, I don't have a sword. Does someone have a sword or an axe?
Sure, take the robe first.
Yeah.
Can we check over his body in case there is some other kind of markings or something that they...
Sure, can someone hold his ankles and I start tugging on the robe?
What I'm going to do first, before we do all of this, I'm going to be not too graphic about it, but I'm going to kill him.
Okay.
By, don't know, taking my spear, making sure the rope isn't in the way, taking my spear, just ramming it through his jaw or something.
Okay.
He says, not wanting to be too graphic about it.
He's dead.
Good.
I mean, it's not difficult to hit a tied up person with a spear.
Yeah.
And it's not difficult. Like 1 or 2 hits and he's gone. There's crunches of bone. It's pretty grim. Blood flies everywhere.
Just why I want to take the cloak off first.
No, normal red blood that we would
It's
expect.
fine, we can clean it up. It's not.
Normal red blood that you would expect, yes.
You wanted a jaw, didn't you? I want to try to pull his jaw off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was going to loosen everything up with just an attack down on the head once he's on the ground.
Sarador gets like your paws into his jaw and starts pulling down just as Breckec like climbs up on top, like behind him on the table, and just comes down with a strike. Combined, the two of you make a pretty good mess of his head. Considering like Breck uses, yeah, we'll go with the Great Club, just for extra effect. It's like you come with a like strike head over your head, and it just collapses the top of the skull, pretty nicely.
Okay.
And at the same time, Sarador, your jaw like paws in his jaw, and you start pulling, and as Breck's club makes contact with the top of his head, the jaw just and there's like tearing of sinewy ligaments and snapping of bone. It's pretty grim.
Maybe we should have done this upstairs. Now we have more pieces to move, but
Yeah, never mind.
So you have well and truly mutilated the cultist in front of you.
While we did that, we checked for markings on the body, though.
Make an investigation check.
Not just me, please, guys. Please do that too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I'll.
Not just me, please.
I was gonna say I'll take a look over as we're stripping him. Well, a third roll, or yay or nay?
I mean, you may as well.
Okay.
What could possibly go wrong?
Nat 1, come on.
Okay.
It's been worse.
Temerity, you are instantly put off by like the horror show in front of you. Sarador, it's quite difficult to like investigate someone's body for marks when you've got like a jaw in one hand and blood just splattered everywhere. Breck, you're a bit more comprehensive, but at the same time it is a bit of a gore fest at the moment, and like you try and pull the robe up over his body, and like as you reveal more skin, there doesn't seem to be, from what you can tell, any particular markings, bearing in mind of course that like blood in like just viscera is pouring over his chest,
and still no pockets or neck or anything. No amulets or any sort of insignia.
Surprisingly devoid of insignia or jewelry in general.
Do we want to dissect and see if there's anything implanted elsewhere in the body that could be like oh, we know you're a cult member because you've got your appendix out? I don't know.
I mean,
feel free to do that.
We can check the contents of the stomach to see if they're eating anything weird, but we might as well just get rid of the body. I don't know.
Yeah, let's just. I grab a fragment of our work to pocket,
Okay.
and then I help drag the rest.
You said there's some crates around. Last time you said there's some old crates from previously when provisions were provided. Wow. I just gather anything that I can and anything that fits in one of those crates, and so we don't have to take too many trips.
Okay, you gather up a fair amount of provisions that you could keep hold of. It'll keep you going for a while.
No. You misunderstood.
Stuffing the body into it.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was paying attention while also reading something, so yeah.
Old crate, I want to put everything that fits in there from the dead body in there so we don't have to carry it upstairs like 3 or 4 times.
Oh, yeah. And who had the bag of holding? I assume stuffing the robe in there.
Yeah, I've got that.
Okay.
So I hand you the robe and I take the jawbone.
Yep.
Sounds about right. You managed to combine, the three of you sort of managed to put things in the bag of holding, put things in the crate, put the body in the crate. It's disturbing. I won't lie. But it's okay. It's fine. You guys will get over it with a bit of therapy.
It's awful.
It's less disturbing than the ears and eyes missing for me anyway.
Yeah, of course. course.
And whatever happened in my mind, I felt a good closure with that great club swing.
I mean, he looks like a mole, right? And you being from underground, you're used to that.
Yes.
Whack-a-mole. There is a game we Swiftneblin play you may not have heard of called Whack-a-Mole. It's actually Whack-a-Knoll, and
It's true.
as the gnolls would burrow through the walls, you would prepare and try to guess where they would come out, and very
Sounds
fun.
about right. Sounds about right.
There are actually Whack-a-Knoll World Cups, but they haven't taken off just yet. But you have been to one, and it's quite entertaining.
Okay, so we take the trip up, dragging our loot.
Okay, I need to be on the right page. So you're going back to the swamp.
Yeah, but while we're going through, in the other corner somewhere, is there like another exit? 'Cause we know there's two entrances. I'm guessing the other exit leads to the same place.
Or it's a separate cave.
It's not.
We haven't looked.
It's so yeah, where Breck is now, down here, there is just a simple outpost with a couple of like sleeping bags, and a campfire that was lit and is still sort of burning away. This whole cavern system seems to be two hidden two entrances / exits, depending, and it seems to be literally just, from what you gather and from what you've seen, it's kind of just there to be an outpost, and there's a way in and out if one gets blocked or attacked, you know.
Okay.
So where is the other entrance?
Basically right where Sarador is right now.
Is it closed?
Gotcha.
It's not. They're both open because one came out of each.
Oh yeah. Okay. Good.
Because if you remember, when you were looking at the rocks above, you couldn't see anything. The entrances are so well infused into the rock that it's actually like, unless you were specifically looking for them, you wouldn't notice them.
Yeah.
So it's safe to have one as an entrance and one as an exit. But because they weren't expecting an attack, they were expecting friends. They just both came out of where they were closest. And yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we return to the surface, dragging our box of loot.
Our box of loot and body parts.
Formerly known as formerly known as Maron? Marin? Oh yeah.
So you return to the surface of the swamp, and it's much the same as when you left it. Corpses strewn on the ground, and the torches that were lit are still lit, and there's still the kind of eerie, disconcerting presence or feeling about the place.
Can I get the two best cloaks from the remaining bodies?
Sure.
And then I have 3. Are they both in good enough condition to pass as wearable?
I think this one down here I killed only with unarmed strikes.
Okay, so that one should be a good nick.
Yeah, and one of them here is the one that I used mending on. I don't remember which, but
yeah,
okay.
You managed to gather up 3 cloaks that you could passably make into good condition.
Cool. I'm gonna add that to my list.
So before we start dumping corpses in the water, do we want to see if we can get anything else on their ultimate destination from one of these? And I gesture at the bodies up here. We will not have the 10 minutes. We will not have the zone of truth unless you can do that again. I don't know that affects the dead. But
sure.
I can ask 5 questions and we may get answers. And if we're going to do that, look like our friend here. I gesture at, well, what he looked like before we implemented our insurance policy.
Imagine, like, making yourself
This guy's self.
look like he does now.
Yeah. So.
Oh no.
I don't.
So I don't have any more Zone of Truth abilities today.
Okay, but if we want to, I can ask 5 things. I would like to ask, and
I don't think Zone of Truth would matter when it comes to speak with him anyway.
Same.
While they do that, I start unloading the crate into the water up here.
The crate of our friend?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll help with all the other bodies apart from the one you're going to talk to, and we'll slowly throw them all into the.
Okay.
To the things.
Someone, I think. Oh, I don't remember who saw that there were some tracks over here.
Not me.
Was it Sarador? I think you did when you took a second look, not trusting Temerity. So, I think one thing I'd like to ask. How do I phrase this as I am their sort of leader? Something like, you're gravely injured, and I'm having an off day. Where was this cart supposed to go? Just to see, like, is this the destination or is it going further into the swamp? But I'm not sure what we hope to get from them that we haven't already gotten.
Maybe say you've been afflicted by some foul magics, and your memory has been temporarily muddled. Maybe
I can look like him, like not fully squished skull, but just like a little bit. Be like, oh, I took a bad hit to the head, and I'm just really having trouble remembering where were we headed.
Yeah. I guess we'll hide. We'll go back down.
I don't think. When I speak with them in this way, I don't think they really have awareness of everything around.
Nope.
Okay.
So I don't think you need to hide. It's mostly it's a one-on-one, very intimate thing. So I guess just what are we hoping to answer that we haven't already? That someone less initiated into the cult might know.
What kind of maybe they'll be able to answer what kind of magics, because obviously they probably all know what kind of magics detect people inside. But I don't know. Maybe
the disguise option is a bad thing, because that would again be kind of weird for their leader to be like, hey, remind me, how is it that we like detect people going in and out? I guess it could be a loyalty test, like we've had a mole in our midst, a knoll in our midst. Tell me, so I know that you are who I think you are, that you're one of us. Answer these questions so that I know.
Do they know that they're dead?
I believe they know they have little to lose at this point. So, yes.
Okay.
It's less of a... I'm not speaking with the person that was alive. I'm more pulling the memory from the bones.
Okay. It's up to you what you want to ask. You can speak with them. But I would like to find out why this hideout is here. How we can get into the inner city. Yeah, and whether this was the final destination or not.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I haven't done this for a while, so here goes. And I will use my innate spell casting to, I haven't thought of flavor for that, but I vogue and wave a hand, and suddenly I look as the cultist pre-head smash in his
Okay.
robe and everything, eyes X'd over, mouth is not still. Was his mouth sewn shut? No.
No, he was talking.
He had his eyes crossed, like stitched out, basically,
Yeah.
and then his left ear was missing.
Here. And I'll go ahead and speak with Dead, on the one that I'm standing next to.
All right. What does your speak with dead casting look like?
I lean really close to the corpse, uncomfortably close, like closer than someone would normally want to get to the head of a body, and I whisper in its ear, "There's still truth to be found where life is gone," and the same sort of Sherlocky formula stuff, kind of from my mouth into their skull.
Okay.
And yeah.
From almost nowhere, none of you are quite sure where, you all hear just like a very haunting, eerily sort of close inhale of breath, and this inhale of breath seems to linger for just a second too long, and then you feel, or you see, sorry, the corpse that Breckec stood over. The chest sort of rises, and it almost, like the back curls off the ground a little bit, and you can see the upper half of the body sort of, it's not sat, like there's no muscle keeping it sort of off the ground. It's almost ethereally floating, and the head is kind of bobbing around, and there's ragged empty breaths being taken. You know the spell you know this means that the spell has succeeded. You can ask your questions.
So I say, "Friend, I can only speak to you shortly, but can you please tell me, why have we built this outpost here in this swamp?"
There's a few more ragged breaths. Seconds pass, like tangible time between the question and the answer. And then a breathless and hauntingly empty voice comes back. We drop off the leavings.
Yes. And brother, those leavings come from the pyramid. How is it that we get into the pyramid?
Again, this a solid like 6 seconds worth of time, so it's almost a round between question and answer, and then you go through the gate and down to the courtyard. The door opens for those who are worthy.
Yes, and how do we prove? How is our worthiness known?
This time, before the answer comes, the head turns to the right, still floating, like bobbing up and down, and turns to the right, revealing like the ear missing. You forgo your name and a part of you, and proceed through the initiation.
They can or cannot hear these responses. If not, I guess.
No, they can hear them.
Okay.
It's it's like these are, they're barely coming out as a whisper. So they'd have to be like close. Like everyone would have to be close, but you can hear them if you're close enough. Temerity's just gone for a swim.
No, she's up there just dealing with the body stuff.
That was 3.
2 more.
And how is it we protect from the unworthy?
Samefi knows. Samefi deals with intruders.
I guess I turn.
Roll an intelligence check.
Fine.
You know of a few things that are sort of like this, in the same general vibe. There are organizations. Some, it's not the right word. There are creatures who control through like overpowering mind control, almost hive mind-esque, and there are creatures who have overwhelming power. They control through devotion and reverence. When it comes to knowing people coming and going, there's a couple of things. You know, as Sverfneblin, that there's things like tremor sense. You've encountered creatures that have tremor sense, and if your tremor sense, basically anything within that tremor sense, you know exactly where they are. You could tell everything from their footsteps to their gait to their like dominant hand, essentially, just from how they walk. It's so detailed. Something like that mixed with a hive mind is, you know, almost impossible to get around. There's also the chance that it could just be, you know, just tremor sense or something similar, where they know who comes and goes because the people at the gate, the guards, the captains and leaders know the feel, the walk of everybody that comes and goes. But this does sort of set off in your mind the possibility of like a hive mind or like overwhelming control and power.
Especially, I think through the Underdark, I had some run-ins with such creatures, or I
Yes.
heard
I mean,
Or I heard Durgar speak of such things as well, and my earlier mind probe had me thinking of that.
yeah, and there's
as
also,
well.
like illithids are quite, fundamentally, they're quite prominent, and you've managed to avoid any contact with them previously, but there are stories, and that is like say again?
And carvings.
Yes.
I saw carvings.
You've seen a lot, you've experienced a lot, even passively, and you've read about them endlessly. They are the prime example of a hive mind, where the elder brain controls all, and nothing escapes the knowledge.
I turn to the others and say, that was 4 questions. I can ask one more. I guess they leave the leavings here, and the outpost is here.
What for, I guess?
We can see, right, what
takes the leavings.
What takes the leavings.
Also, maybe
what happens
when?
What happens with the leavings after they leave them.
Yeah, because if something comes within like 2 hours or 1 hour, then we probably want to go soon.
Right. So, yeah, I'll turn back from looking at them, still kind of next to my brother cultist, and I will say, rest is near, but please remind me what happens with the leavings once we have left them.
We don't know. We leave them, and they disappear. No one's ever quite sure. But, and as on the butt, the sort of breath, like physically you see like this essence, this sort of fog, smoke essence like rise from the body, and it unceremoniously just to the ground, and the breath that you heard enter it just leaves and dissipates into the air.
I wonder whether they actually leave the leavings like down there, outside somewhere. We never really got to that part, did we?
No. I mean, I can talk with another friend if you haven't thrown them all in the water yet.
I would probably say I would have got at least 3 in by now. But
okay.
I'd say save it.
That's my feeling too. I have a general unease with this swamp, and I would feel comfortable maybe getting out of it soon.
I want to try one little thing though. With this one, this other corpse, the one I'm next to now, I'd like to grab it and probably like just throw it between 2 torches, like up here. I don't know if because they're walking along the water, like on some kind of platform thing. So I want to make sure there's one going this way as well.
Okay.
Like throw it, or just plop it ahead of me.
You throw it into the water, and there seems to be the slightest moment of it holding on the surface, and then it starts to sink. And as it sort of breaks the surface of the water, you sort of see a flash in the water, and then the body just goes and is just pulled under.
Maybe undead things join the whatever's under the water. I was going to try to walk across this one, but I don't know whether or not that's safe now. Maybe we don't. Maybe we go back in. I mean, it's probably silly to wait here and stay here. It's quite late, isn't it? Must be that evening. No, wait. They travelled through the night. We haven't slept yet, have we?
No. It's getting late, if I remember correctly, because we're technically still on the day that you got the job.
Yeah, because they left, and then it was like through the early hours of the morning. I think they were going to arrive. I think, or something. I can't remember.
Mm-hmm. So it is still early hours of the morning, and it's gloomy. It's not a pleasant environment at all.
Okay.
Rando, you missed it, man. Sarador found like 10,000 gold.
I heard, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Gambled it all away as well, very quickly.
Crazy. It was an absolute wild. Like 2 minutes, you were gone.
Should we throw the rest of the bodies in and then just head back to town? I mean, we need to rest, but maybe we can pop outside of the swamp somewhere.
I mean, it's late. Was it about an hour from the hill where someone masterfully guided us to the entrance to the swamp?
Couple of hours. It wasn't.
I was attuning, wasn't I, for an hour as well?
You were attuning here.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been in this swamp for about 3 or 4 hours at this point.
I would be more comfortable getting more distance between us and this swamp.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we could sleep down in this hideout, but out in the long grass, there's some amount of.
Well, yeah, someone might be coming from a different outpost or somewhere else to get the things they leave behind, mightn't they? So.
Then again, if the plan is to bring the cart, there's no sense trying to hide. That is a large target on us.
I think we leave the cart, do we not?
I don't know. Temerity, what do you think?
She's come.
Yeah.
She is so intent on throwing these bodies into the river. She doesn't even pay attention to you, like completely blanking you.
So one way we had thought to get into at least the inner ring, the inner city. Text notes for specific names of districts.
Outer ring.
Outer ring, outer city. To get into the outer city was to disguise ourselves and make use of the cart. Do we want to abandon that plan?
Well, if they can sense who should be there and who isn't, don't know if it'll make much difference.
That's true.
That would only be getting into the into the old city.
Yeah, the old city.
Right.
Getting into the outer city wouldn't.
That'd be fine, wouldn't it?
As far as you're aware, yeah.
So getting into the inner city, or the old city, I think they're gonna know we're there.
True, and because it's such a straight line from the pyramid out, even if we used that disguise to get in there, it's probably kind of an all eyes on you as the cult returns. I imagine people that live in that area have come to well, maybe it's so regular they wouldn't pay attention to us. But if we come into the outer city but then don't proceed on to the gate to enter the old city, that might draw attention of guards, let alone someone else.
Yeah, I think if we're going to try to use the robes to get in anyway, and even though they'll know we're not the people, we'll have to probably just put them on, and when we're just about to try to get in, I guess, somewhere hidden away. But you're going back into the outer city with those robes on, everyone will probably be looking at us, yeah.
So yeah, maybe it makes sense to ditch the cart, not knowing what they may be feeding these leavings to. I'm
Hmm.
half tempted to want to torch the lot and see what happens when they miss a payment.
Yeah, we could just pour them into the water here, I guess.
Well, whatever's eating it may live in the water.
Maybe.
I'm tempted to unload it all into the cave and set it alight.
Hmm.
Though that's a lot of work, so
Let's pour it into the
just-
dirt, maybe, because it will soak into the ground like any kind of liquid would, I guess.
Well, there's the pus. And then there's the crates of whatever meat-like substance.
Burn some things, but we can't. Probably not flammable.
Let's not bother the time, and the smoke would draw attention to us. Though we are in a somewhat magically guarded area as well.
So tip them over.
I'm very curious what if. Back of my mind, this is food for some great beast, and the magical cover provided by this illusion or whatever it is might be hiding the presence of something large and evil. So I'd love to stay and find out, but also I only want to come close to death so many times per one day, and I feel like that's getting a bit stretched today.
And also, we're kind of like stepping a bit further away from the whole grand scheme of things of getting into the old city.
True.
Well, we're focusing too much on like what's this mystery out here. We should. I know maybe we'll get some more answers of how to get in, but maybe not. Maybe we just go in and see what happens.
That's true.
I mean, if it's just that people get overrun by cultists, I mean, they weren't really that difficult to kill.
That's true.
We could probably just fight and run away if we have to. Would they run outside the old city? We'd find out, I guess.
So let's just dump it all here. Wreck up the place a little bit. Or do we want to as discreetly as possible? The cart is wood, so would float. The crates with their contents would probably sink.
It depends on how densely packed the crates and stuff are. But it's possible they might float.
Just not think about it too much. Let's not even think about it.
That's true. I mean, we can cart it over there, and I point to the tree line where you guys were hiding, and just there's a donkey attached as well, and tied off to the tree, I believe. Still,
It's true. There is a donkey.
Yeah, we'll let the donkey go and it'll do what it wants to do, or we can take. Yeah, let's untie the donkey and just.
Have you ever eaten donkey? We don't need to eat this donkey.
Let's let it go and just throw everything else in the water.
Okay. What if the donkey wants to eat some of the mystery meat?
Then it will, I guess.
Do you think we should see if the donkey wants to eat some mystery meat?
What if it turns
What would
into some
happen to
horrible monster?
That's true. That's true. Again, curiosity is dangerous. I need to learn that someday. Okay, yeah. So we just untie. Whoa. Uh-oh. There's the were donkey.
I know it looks
big donkey.
I know it looks like a draft horse right now, but there you go. And it was over here.
So yeah, I guess we guided over to the woods, having it pull the cart over just into the tree line, off to the side, and
Okay.
are we dumping the crates from the cart and leaving the cart there, but kind of smashing up the crates?
I guess, yeah.
I mean, they're already spoiled. The meat is already spoiled, whatever it was. So I
Some
don't
people
know.
come and try to eat them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then untie the donkey and just give it a smack.
You let the donkey go in the woods, and it kind of is tentative at first. It doesn't really know what to do, and as you kind of give it a whack, it sort of trots off slightly, and then sort of stops and starts looking around, and just starts grazing on some of the grass that it finds in the swamp. This isn't the perfect environment for a donkey, but it'll survive. Surely it'll survive. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
You start sort of breaking up some of the crates and barrels and releasing the ingredients onto the ground, just letting it fall loose, and like all of the ingredients just spill out. It's pretty gross. Whatever, like the slabs of meat inside have kind of got like a they have a kind of like a jelly, I guess, that is sort of like a thin film on top of, in between the layers, along with the sort of small sheets they've got, and it's pretty grim. But you know, they slop onto the ground, and it's, you know, it's out. The liquid just sort of slimes out, and it's so thick that it slimes out slowly and then fairly quickly ingests into the ground.
Good. Should we go? Shall we get out of this swamp then?
Make a perception check, everyone.
Uh-oh.
Oy.
Nice. Breck, with a 25, you feel before you see the ground sort of starts rumbling slightly in a pattern. Boof. Boof. Boof.
In a pattern near where we've dumped the things.
Nope. In a sort of footsteps approaching kind of way.
Like large footsteps.
Significant.
So I guess I'll say there's something coming this way. To the group. Do I have a sense of direction?
Not currently, but it's not coming from outside of the swamp.
Yeah, so my immediate assumption is that we already kind of had the thought that this was food for something, and hey, we should get out of here before something comes to eat the goop. And so assuming it's something approaching that drop-off area, but that also we broke it open and now there's nice, tasty meat stench wafting from this area, so I say we should move.
Okay, I'd say I probably would have had the other two bodies in the water by now as well.
Yeah. That's fine.
Ideally.
All of the corpses are now in the water. The donkey's gone. That was a great use of draft horse. And you're now kind of feeling that from essentially northwards, that's where the footsteps are coming from.
Yeah, and so I think we had made note of, or I had, I guess, watching them as they entered the cultists, where they crossed the torched area. I don't know if the others saw that or not, but I'm saying we must follow the bridges, the invisible bridges that the torches indicate. We're running back toward the savannah.
Okay. You head back off and you make it out into the savannah again, and it's quite nice to just be in open space again, to be honest. After such a long time in the oppressive swamp, in the underground hideout outpost that you spent some time into, fresh air, space, and the ability to breathe cleanly is quite a relief.
As we are kind of catching our breath on the outskirts, I'll say something large was headed our way from deeper in the swamp. My mind jumps to the undead stone giant we already fought, but it could have been bigger. It could have been smaller. I guess, can I judge from the gait with that 25 that it seemed like a bipedal movement? Not like
It's
a
quite
horse gallop?
possible. No, it wasn't anything like that. It was bipedal, most likely. You can assume that fairly confidently.
So, if we want to poke our heads back in there, and I am not necessarily on board with that, we could potentially find out who they are feeding. But as Sarador pointed out, that's not exactly on the plan for finding out what's in the pyramid.
Yeah, let's not get too distracted.
It's probably just more fun facts to learn.
As you are leaving the swamp, your pack vibrates. Your communication device.
Documancy satchel.
That one. Your documancy satchel. It sort of vibrates, and you pull out a slip of paper, and written in a kind of very sprawling handwriting, neat but written quickly, concerning. Continue with the plan, and then in all caps, do not implicate us anymore. Inform us when you return.
I read that out loud to the group. Say, well, knowing there's something back there, it's likely on a full belly, but I still don't know that I feel comfortable resting this close to the edge of the swamp, knowing that something in there could see us, but we can't see it. I'd prefer we move a little further from the veil.
Yeah. Like an hour. If we go for like an hour, and I'll wander back towards the city. Maybe not directly towards, but off the.
Toward that. What time is it now? It's pretty late, right?
It's early in the morning at this point. Like very early, sort of. Middle of the. It's between midnight and dawn, basically.
So in case any other cultists come looking for their missing thing, can we still see, can we see the hill that we had sort of camped on when we got lost and crested and found where we were going? Can we see that direction? I think we had wound up north of the intersection. So if we had a bit northeast.
Okay, northeast, yeah.
Kind of return to that same point where we had paused briefly on the way in.
Yeah, you managed to find roughly the track that you followed previously. You see the same sort of dunes you were on before, and yeah, you can rest up there. It takes you about an hour and a half, 2 hours to get there, but it's far enough away that you'd feel a lot more safe, and you have a fairly good view of the road between the swamp and Moralish, so you've got a good sort of vantage point of your surroundings.
Okay, so we could take take a watch each.
I'm gonna say it's early morning, so now that out under the light of the sun, this is not the most restful environment.
It's not daytime yet. It's still nighttime, but
right, but 8 hours it will be full sun.
Yeah, it'll be daytime by then.
I'm happy to take the first watch if you guys want to get a bit of sleep.
Okay.
Yep.
I can, if you want to wake me up when you're when your watch is over, I can take the second.
Yeah, I'll take the third.
Okay. I'll probably like lie down like against the dune. I just want to keep my profile low in case anyone does walk. And I know it's done night time at the moment, but
And I will
Okay.
sleep standing up, still fully hidden from view.
Okay. Make a perception check for me, please, Sarado. Okay. There's not a lot happening. It's so quiet and uneventful that it's actually quite difficult to stay awake, let alone keep watch. But you do, and for the 2 hours of your watch, you are managing to keep a look around. Nothing catches your attention. Roll a d20 for me. Okay. Your watch ends. Nothing eventful happens.
I will nudge Breckec then.
Okay. Anything go on?
No, nothing at all.
Okay.
Struggled to stay awake though. It has been a long day.
Well, I would say avoid that patch. Comfortable for me, but probably a little rocky for you.
Oh, I thought you were saying you wet yourself or something. Okay.
Well.
I got my bed roll and I get my old bed roll out and I'll start taking off. I think 5 minutes to take off heavy armor. I think it was.
Yes.
Start taking off my heavy armor.
Okay. And then you settle down for your sleep. Breckec, roll a perception check for me.
Oh my days.
And then roll a d20 for me.
You've had all 4 so far.
No, I rolled 1.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
I rolled a 0.
Your watch goes by. You doze. You fall asleep a couple of times.
It was a long day.
You get distracted by what you think you can sort of you're sure you can see something moving in the tree line of the swamp, and for probably about a solid 40 minutes you just eyes peeled on the tree line, and eventually your watch on the tree line ends because you doze off, and the only reason you wake up is because Temerity is woken up for her watch and like nudges you awake.
I kick him in the shin.
Ah!
Why are you asleep?
I was watching very closely the tree line.
You were snoring!
It was probably just the donkey. That was probably the donkey as well. I may have fallen asleep, but it was a long day.
Go to bed.
Okay. And I curl back up in my pile of stones.
Mm-hmm. Temerity, roll a perception check for me. And then roll a d20 for me. Okay. Your watch is quiet. You don't see anything that catches your attention. You're not drawn to anything particular. But that's good. Nice quiet watch.
I take the next watch too, since all of us need to get 6 hours of sleep.
And you got 4.
And I got 4 so far, and then maybe we can add another 2 onto it.
Okay. So, roll another perception check for me.
I'll let the two of them. I'll let the 2 of them just sleep.
Okay, and then roll a d20. Okay. This one is a bit more of a struggle. You got 4 hours of sleep, and you've been up for about 3.5 hours at this point, and you are struggling to keep your eyes open. And there's a lull, a definite lull, just before the sun crests. It's like it's just starting to hit daytime. And there's a few moments where you genuinely think you're going to fall asleep. But you manage to stay awake. You're doing okay. You're awake. Definitely awake. It's not easy though. And then your watch ends.
I go and kick Breckec in the shin again to wake him up.
Huh? I wasn't. Oh wait, I was sleeping. Yeah.
Yeah, take another watch for me. You've slept for 6 hours now. Both of you have slept for 6 hours. Take another watch for me so I can sleep for a bit longer, and then we can get going.
Okay. Yeah. I'm awake this time.
The two of you have had your long rest now.
No, they haven't.
I have. What?
You have to have 8 hours straight to get a long rest. Just because they've slept for 6 hours doesn't mean they've had their long rest.
Yeah, it's 8 hours, but at least 6 hours sleeping, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So I've had 4 hours sleeping. Yeah.
So, Breckec, roll a perception check for me. Okay, and then roll a d20 for me. Okay. Your eyes are still drawn to the tree line. You, almost as soon as you wake up, your eyes sort of dart over there, and they just keep getting drawn back. Almost like something over there is like catching your attention, definitely, or it's difficult to explain. Every time you look, there's nothing there, but something's catching your attention. But after the 2 hours, the sun is risen, the day has started, and your rests are over.
So that's the long rest successful.
That is a successful long rest, yes.
All right. And it is new day.
I'm starting to put my armor on.
Okay.
Before anything else.
As the other two start to rouse, well, I assume I guess are you both waking up naturally?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I make sure to make a show of how alert I am and how actively I'm keeping an eye all around us.
Okay.
And then as I see that they've noticed that I'm very alert, I pull out that note that I got last night from the partners again, and I'm just looking over that. And
where did you keep it?
That's true. Normally I would burn them when I was done, but this one I kept just in my pocket.
Okay. Cool. It's good to know.
So I go to pull it out and read over that, just
We should head back to Morales.
we should, and we need to let them know when we get there. So I would say we should almost go. Who do I know who is at the other end of?
It wasn't signed.
I recognize?
You've not seen the handwriting before, so you're not entirely sure who it could have been.
Gotcha. I'm not sure who it is that wants to see us, but I guess if we go back to the headquarters to check in, just to say we're back, let them know what we've discovered. Maybe not all applicable to our current task, but still useful.
What were the information that were given to us in regards to when the party of the cultists returned?
They would return, I believe it was, they were gone a day, so I don't know if we had more specific, but I assumed they leave in the evening, and they probably returned near the evening.
Okay, so if they would return, so yesterday they arrived there, they had 6 hours travel. We have rested now for 10 hours. It's morning, and they were supposed to return this evening. Then if we leave now to get back to Morales, we have 6 hours travel. Then we still have a little window before it's official that they're missing, unless they already know because they have some sort of connection with each other. But they would only be expecting them back tonight.
Yeah,
so,
it's 24 hours, wasn't it? Yeah.
So if let's say, like, above table, let's say it's 8 a.m. or maybe it's, I don't know, 10 a.m. So we would be back at 4 o'clock, and we still would have some time to.
Yeah, I think telling everyone, well, telling our people what is going on here, exactly where this is, what that it's like hidden behind something, what kind of enemies are here, about traveling between the lights and stuff as well. They can come and send a party to probably look it over, I guess. More disposable people, than us.
I cannot imagine that we're the first ones to wander in here. Someone else must have gone missing here, or must have seen this place before. Maybe not from the Silent Partners, but someone from Morales.
I'm sure.
There needs to be information about this somewhere.
I mean, but unless they tell someone exactly where they were going, who knows? And
if it wasn't a party of 2-star athletes and one of the brightest minds of our day, I don't know that they would have made it out of that swamp.
Well, a star athlete, a second-rate athlete, and the finest mind of the day.
I know, right? Sarado isn't that good. What sort of wildlife lives in this area? I know this is a very random question, but I have a point for it.
It's the sort of usual, like, think like Lion King, right? With that kind of ecosystem correctly attributed to a savanna, not a jungle. Because lions don't live in jungles. Come on, Disney.
Okay, so we're very deserty, in a very deserty ecosystem with that sort of giraffes, zebras, all that sort of animal wildlife stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not strictly desert, it's also grasslands as well. It's like a cross between, it's sandy dirt, basically.
Okay, I got you. Follow-up question to that. I'm not sure whether I would know this, so feel free not to answer it. But how prevalent or frequent or well-known is the hunting in the outer ring? With people that I would know, people trying to sustain themselves because they're poor, because they're, don't make that much gold, because they don't have that much money to buy expensive food. Would they go out and hunt?
Yeah.
Okay. We should go and ask people whether, I don't know if there's a sort of hunter community, but maybe we know people who are hunting, whether they've ever made it this far out, stalking their prey, something.
What for, though? I mean, again, we might be getting too distracted on this outpost.
Yeah, fair enough. Maybe it's a secondary goal. I just cannot imagine we're the first ones to experience this and the first ones to make it out of there. Considering how many people live in Morales, you know, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people.
Well, and our goal is to find what is in the pyramid, or what are the secrets of the cult, and we now know that. I mean, I guess we already knew whatever is in those crates came from inside the pyramid. So possibly learning more specifics about ultimately what that is doing may inform better what's on the inside. We probably should have kept a sample of that.
I was just thinking exactly the same thing.
A sample of what?
The bluish meat jelly
what
stuff.
What did you do with it?
And
I
the
wasn't
pus.
here. What did you do with it? I wasn't here.
We had the donkey bring the cart to the edge of the woods off where you two had hid when they approached. And we dumped the crates in the edge of the woods there.
Into the woods, just on the ground?
Yeah, just out of view so that it wouldn't be as noticeably disturbed in that area when they come to investigate.
Did anything happen with it?
It soaked into the ground, and then we heard something stomping toward us and ran.
We were more worried about. I suggested pouring it into the water, but then it was probably like what could happen to the undead things in there. Maybe it would be a bad thing to pour in there, so we decided to pour it into the ground, kind of thing.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we should have taken a sample, but again, we'll tell the silent partners about this. They can send someone here. They can uncover the mysteries here. If they want us to come back and check it out, we can.
Yeah.
But let's do our main mission, I guess.
Yeah. I'm gonna be kicking myself the whole way back to Morales that we did not keep a sample, though. I mean, there's some in my stomach potentially of the more liquid is too fair a term for it.
It's been about 12 hours. You would have digested it by now.
True. I do have the result of it passing through me over there if we want to collect and bring that back, but
Put it in a sock.
I haven't buried it yet because, you know, I'm used to Underdark. We don't do that. I know that's one of these local customs is to bury your leavings.
Oh no, that's just Sarah Do's custom.
Oh, so even the circling part?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
Racist.
How the turns have tabled. Okay, so you start heading back off towards Morales, and with the city in sight, you don't necessarily need to roll a survival. You just follow, and eventually you'll find your way back to a gate into the city. How are you wishing to enter? Same as you left? Cloaked? Disguised?
No.
Probably normal. I'll put my normal cloak up, probably, but not one of the cult ones. That's for sure.
Yeah. We entered through the western gate that we came into, just into the outer ring, where, you know, that's our home, where we know we probably wouldn't be checked or picked up on. At least that's what Temerity would think. She knows this area. She goes in and out probably frequently, so it's not like she's worried that anyone in the outer ring would pick up on them returning or would be bothered about them returning. Whether that's true or not, that's a different thing.
I'd probably, before we get into town, just say to everyone, look, if they are like linked, like you may think, hive mind, then they'll know that we're coming. Well, what we did there, and they'll expect us to possibly come back. We should maybe just keep a good eye, see if anyone's watching us as we come back in for the gate.
But I don't think we ever really see the cultists in general, like as a general thing, come into the outer ring, right? Except for passing through.
Yeah, but then obviously someone who might be like sneakily. Yeah. Potentially, that if they got that missing the one ear, it'd be pretty obvious, I guess. But they might wear a hat instead of cultist robes. But
maybe a wig.
I'm gonna keep an eye out anyway as I go in, just to see if anyone's watching us specifically.
Okay.
Some some people who don't have beards will wear a fake beard, or they have those noses with the mustache. So possibly
I
the
guess.
cultists have a hat with an ear there. We may never know.
Potentially.
So everyone is a possible cultist.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
So we should pull everyone's hat off that we see, just in case they're wearing a special hat.
You just walk up
What if-
behind someone, just rip it off. Ah! Oh, that's
I
bad.
mean,
Amelia.
It might not be part of the hat though. It could be like a headband. So really safer to just go tug the ear.
Tug the ear. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're going to end up with a satchel full of jaws and an ear necklace like a Universal Soldier. Good to know.
Mhm.
Sounds legit, guys.
So I think we are just we're walking in, but sort of casually, but keeping an eye out.
Eyes sharp for people noticing us. I don't know how busy it's going to be. It's in the morning, so us coming back in.
It's busy.
Okay.
This gate isn't necessarily the busiest. Not many people come out this way, but there are still people that kind of come around the city. There's like like a small shanty town essentially on the outskirts for like the poorest of the poor who would go out and scavenge and try and come in and sell their stuff. So there are people trying to enter, to get into the city for the day to sell their stuff to get home for the afternoon, that sort of thing. But it's not busy enough that you're going to get stopped necessarily.
What is in like inside the immediate gate? Is this a market area then within the western gate?
Inside immediately is not this, because it's generally the quietest gate. Because not many people not many people come out this way. It's a gate of convenience more than use and necessity. It's mostly just built up. There's houses, a few shops, and like the odd market stand. But you would have to go further into this part of the city, or maybe around the ring, to get to a more affluent trading area.
And
But-
go ahead.
A lot of people come in this way because it's less used, it's quieter and easier to access. So it's worth walking further in the city than it is waiting at the gate, close to where they want to go. Because they're more popular, you get stopped for longer. You're more likely to get searched. You're more likely to, be questioned by guards and such.
And the partner's hideout was not too far from this gate, correct? I know it was in the poorer part of town.
Yeah, it's not far.
Okay.
It's the geography of it's difficult to explain, but it's not necessarily too difficult to find. So if you wanted to head straight back there, it would take you about 20 minutes. Because it's not a straight road, it is very crisscross, diagonal, up and down kind of thing. But if you wanted to go somewhere else first, it's up to you.
I'm gonna break the immersion very quickly, and Rando, your mic is being weird sometimes.
Oh,
Sometimes you're really quiet, and then you sound normal again.
okay.
I don't know what it is. I thought it was my headphones, but then you switched while talking from being quiet to being normal.
Gotcha. It might be a direction thing because I was turning and covering my mouth a lot, I think, while I was thinking.
That could be. Okay. I just wanted you to be aware of it.
Thank you. So I guess are we through the gate? Have we seen anybody?
Any suspiciouses?
Make perception checks. Sorry. I'm glad you reminded me because I'd forgotten.
Well, I was going to as well. Keeping an eye out for suspicious characters.
Okay, well, it's a good thing you are.
Mm.
Temerity isn't too off the ball as well. Like, you're keeping a fairly good grasp on the situation, but Sarador is proper on it. You notice people staring at you, and it could just be a consequence of It could just be a consequence of the situation, like you're more on edge, so everything's suspicious.
Famous.
Exactly.
Very
You're also
good at it.
famous.
Oh my god.
I
So
forgot about this. Temerity, you'll understand one day when you finally start winning things. People
I
will
won more
recognise you.
shit than you did. I mean, not as important stuff, but still.
It's not about it's quality, not quantity. And you know, when you win the Morales games, and you know you overcome the odds like Sarador has in the past, like you won it with like a broken foot, dude. Like,
Yeah.
That is just a rumor, and we all know that's not true.
and
That's why I got less money than you. I had to pay so much money to the cleric to heal me up.
medical
So
bills.
I would obviously have. My winnings is obviously higher, which is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, yeah.
So you know, combination of fame, paranoia, and the time of day as well. It's a busy time of day. It's difficult to tell whether the people who are watching you are, for what reason they're watching you. Being more specific, you don't see anybody with a missing ear.
Right, that's what. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask as well.
So that's something that can ease your mind. You don't see any missing ears.
Hmm.
So
I'm just gonna be walking next to Temerity quickly. I'm just gonna like tug her ear just gently, just to check.
My ear is still real,
Okay.
and I slap his hand away.
Seeing that and thinking about
Celebrity, you know.
that they were inside my head yesterday, I'm just gonna subtly give my own ear a tug just to make sure.
You know, but actually, I don't think that's such a bad idea.
make a Constitution saving throw, Breck.
Oh no!
You accidentally put. Paul, strength
I
check
mean-
first. Strength check first, please. Whoops.
Do you say con check or con saving?
Con save. Con save.
Oh, save.
Oh no.
Oh, dude. As you pull your ear to check if it's working or not, you let out the biggest burp.
Mm.
Like, talk about acid reflux from the crap you ate yesterday. Holy crap. And not only did it do some damage when you drank it or ingested it, it wasn't really a drink. Like, it hurts. It's proper painful, and now that it's kind of got into your system, it's just unpleasant. Like, it's actually painful, and it tastes bad. It's like a bad aftertaste. The smell from the burp is gross.
Maybe we should take you to an apothecary or something. Maybe we can get something to flush your system.
It's not as bad coming up as it was going down.
That was interesting still.
Do I have the feeling that this is an ongoing condition that I need to deal with, or do I get the feeling like that was the end of it? Like I ate regretful things last night, and that's through me now.
It's difficult to say.
Oh no.
You can't really tell.
I am medicine proficient. Would I know?
Trying to close the door. There we go. Say again, sorry.
I am proficient in medicine. Would I?
You are.
From that, know if this was something I would need to treat.
Make a medicine check. It could be something you might need to get, like an antidote, or maybe some kind of, you know, some stomach settling type thing. But at the moment, it's just manifesting in like proper pain.
Gotcha. I see. Yet another reason I regret that we didn't take a sample It can be easier to make an antidote if you have the original poison.
It's true.
I was going to say we should make haste to the partners, but maybe a swing by an apothecary
They
just
had
to see.
potions and stuff there, and probably people who know things. They could
True, they can analyze.
analyze you. Maybe not. I don't know if they want to look at everything that you've got coming out of you, but maybe we can. They'll know who to send us to as well, maybe, or send you to. You know.
As you're having this conversation, you've walked further into the city. Are you heading to the partners or to elsewhere?
We'll
I'd
head
say
to the partners, I think.
Partners, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're kind of heading a bit southwards into the city a bit more, and like this is. Carry on.
As we're walking, because I'm not sure whose handwriting I read in that note, I will quickly, because they said notify when you return. I'm going to just quickly write through the gate on our way to HQ now and put it into the satchel as we walk.
Cool. As you're writing out and sort of sending off the message, you turn a corner, and this is quite a busy street you're on. And it just seems your spidey senses are tingling. Sarador, continue on from the same perception check as earlier. Something seems to have changed. Consider this street quite full.
Okay.
Mostly they're just shops, but there's people all around. Some are get in and out of the shops, standing in the middle of the street talking to each other. There's the occasional carriage that's trying to sort of slalom its way through. Excuse me. The sort of pedestrians that are literally just standing in the middle of the roads. Some people are loading carts and unloading carts elsewhere, and there's the occasional guard stood around, but they're patrolling, so they're kind of heading off in directions.
Something doesn't feel right.
Currently,
I was whispered to everyone, the other two. I'm like, something feels a bit off. I don't know.
I mean, did you smell what I burped up?
Cooking?
Is that? Yes.
I mean, no, something different. I don't know. This call it a suspicion.
Do we need to act a certain way?
When Sarador says that, I look around to see if I see anyone specifically watching us.
Maybe we don't head back to where we're supposed to go, if you know what I mean.
Make a perception check, temerity.
Maybe we go somewhere else and lie low for a bit.
It's difficult to tell whether you're being watched specifically. Again, with Sarador's fame and, public image, anybody could be watching for any reason.
When we head out, when we left yesterday, I mean, it's major streets, but are there some smaller side streets or alleys?
Yeah, there's a few side alleys you could sneak into if you wanted to. That could count as sort of hiding spaces. Not necessarily cut-throughs. There aren't many continuous alleys you can cut through, but there are side alleys you could duck down to stay out of people's way.
I'd like to do a quick scan. Right, I'm not asking to do a perception check or anything, but I'm going to do a quick scan and just try my best to take in some features of people, like clothes, what they're wearing, or people that are looking at us. So that if maybe I looked again down a few other streets, that maybe I'd recognise someone repeating being there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, just make an investigation check for me. And do it with advantage because you've been watching people already. Now you're just taking more notice.
Okay.
13. Okay. You do see. You take note of people. Generally, people are wearing cloaks, simple clothing, or quite extravagant clothing, depending on who they are. Nothing overly fancy because this is the sort of poor end of the city, but rich for this area, you know. And then there's some people that are kind of wearing basic leather armor that look like they're either hunters or potentially mercenaries or guards off duty but still trying to stay protected, you know, that kind of thing. And you make sure to take note of as much and as many as possible to keep track of over the next little bit.
Where's the next alleyway that we could slip into?
So on this street you've got you're coming to a crossroads basically. You were going to turn right, would take you pretty much straight down another 5 minutes or so to the partners. The next alleyway would probably be across the street just past here. Would take you into an alleyway just behind a shop, and in between a shop and a bakery basically.
Okay, I have a plan.
Okay.
Okay, you're probably all gonna die.
Let's just not go back where we're supposed to go. Let's just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go straight. Let's try to slip into that alleyway over here. And once we pass the crossroads, I cast darkness behind us.
Okay.
That's the plan. Are you guys okay with that?
How big's the range? And
15 feet radius, so 30 feet diameter.
Can you do it sneakily so no one else knows it was you as well, like guards and such?
I can whisper it. It doesn't have any semantics.
Okay.
I follow you as you head for it because finding a quiet alley is what I was thinking as well.
Okay. As we cross the crossroads, I cast darkness on the center of the alleyway, just to anyone who might be following us or might be watching from either side of the of the sphere, doesn't see where we're going.
Okay. As you cast your spell, a lot of people suddenly sort of gasp, scream, panic. There's a fair bit of running around as a lot of people now are just sort of blinded, essentially. They don't know what they're doing. And then, or they don't know what's going on, sorry. And as you duck off into the alley, and so I'll put you up on the roof basically, just so that you can kind of see where you should be. Like you would be essentially here.
Mm-hmm.
You take kind of poke your head out and see. Doesn't seem to be anybody following you. And then what are you doing?
Should we bolt down the alley as fast as we can, and then when we come out, we just merge into the crowd?
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
You said it's not a through alley, right? It's more of a dead end.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Are there any doors?
There's a door into a shop on your right, which would be this circular roof, and then just off the map up here would be like a bakery. But you wouldn't know whether they're doors into the main shop or sort of back rooms that you shouldn't go into.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Or if we see someone look as if they're following us, if we just kind of find hiding in the alley and watch for someone to go by as if they're seeking us.
Well, or we could actually try and I don't know whether there's any ladders or any way to climb the walls and up onto the roof. My idea is I want to get out of this alley, so either we do that via the roofs, or we go into the shop, rush through the shop. It's not the first time we're going to commit criminal acts.
We can flash our badge.
Yeah. And then go out the front. No, but that's not a good idea, though.
That's true.
Don't flash our badges in case someone is like, oh, people from the Silent Partners were here. And then go out the front and then, go into the next alleyway or something.
Yeah. So we, to the right, back towards the street, we would have...
Yeah, let's go to the left. Let's go to the left, though. I don't want to... Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. So you go in through the door into the bakery, and as you open the door, like immediately, you are hit by a smell of just freshly baked breads and pastries, and heat from ovens that are baking said breads and pastries. There is a lady in there that's kind of kneading some bread. She kind of looks up at you in shock, like, "What are you doing?" She, human lady, but slightly smaller than normal, kind of chunky, but just happily kneading away, and she just looks in surprise at what she's seeing.
Oh.
Afternoon, I say, and I dart to the next door that I hope takes us to the front.
Terribly sorry. I think we're supposed to go in the other way, aren't we? That looks great. And then just walk through.
Okay. You walk through the next door, and it takes you out into the bakery proper, where there's an older man stood behind a counter, so currently serving over a whole bunch of various baked goods to a bunch of kids who are like kind of looking excitedly about what they're going to buy. And he looks at you kind of equally as surprised, because you're coming out from the back of the bakery where you're not supposed to be, into the front of the bakery. But he kind of considers you for a moment and then nods his head as you just sort of walk through and out back into the main street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Breckec, how fast are you?
About average.
Okay.
Above table, 30 feet.
Okay.
You're fine.
When you come out into the street, there's a guard stood across the road from you. Human. Fairly unremarkable looks, darker skin, curly hair, and he's got a bow on his back and a sort of short sword on his waist.
2 ears.
2 ears.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a few scratches and scars on his hands, you can see, but it's like wearing kind of tight leather armor that is dyed in the sort of moralish colors, sort of gold yellowy colors. And you've seen guards like these before, and he sort of, as you come out of the bakery, he looks you up and down and says, "Why are you casting magic in the street?"
What are you talking about?
"I saw you. You're casting magic in the street."
I wasn't casting magic in the streets.
Roll a deception check. With disadvantage.
You must have mistaken me.
Because he literally saw you.
How do I have deception -2?
"I saw you. You make big dark sphere. Middle of the street."
Our friend has a slight issue with pranks. We like to prank each other and try to lose each other. Play tricks on each other.
Play hide and seek.
Harmless. It's a harmless little thing.
I say, yeah, like this, and I grab Sarador's cloak and I attempt to tear it, and then use mending to untear it.
Okay.
Harmless magic.
We did not intend to cause any distress, so apologies for that. Yeah, sorry.
Roll a deception check. He looks you up and down, Sarador. You are Sarador.
Oh,
Hate you.
yes.
I hate this.
And we're the entourage.
I hate this.
Would you like an autograph?
You can see he's getting flustered. May I have one for my children?
Oh, of course.
As well.
Yeah. Anyone got any paper?
I hand you
I walk
parchment and a
away.
quill.
Ah, thank you. So who's this? So what? Make that minute to who? Sorry. What names?
Oh, I am Gaio. Gaio.
And your children?
I have daughter Esme.
Esme.
She's a big fan. Big fan.
And I write my little quote that I always say is if you're not first, you're last. Sarador. And I pass it over.
He takes it and he looks and he's like, oh, and then he pockets it and then she's like, thank you, big fan.
Mm-hmm. Well, I appreciate your discretion and I apologise again. We won't be doing that, of course. Enjoy the rest of your day.
I will. You too. Thank you.
Taking my quill back, I say, do you want my autograph too?
I don't know who you are.
I'm Breckec. I read books.
Oh yeah, sorry, Temerity's here as well.
I have walked away at this point. Like
Ah.
I'm a good like you've talked to him for about a minute. I am a good like 450 feet away from you now.
You got no idea how much I wanted him to say he had no idea who you were. That's what I was really hoping for. More than anything. Okay.
Before waiting for more response, I write my name on a piece of paper, and I just reach up and put it on top and say, "They'll love it."
You need a little like catchphrase or something that really goes well.
Oh,
Really
not
goes
just
well.
the name.
Well, think of one as mumble,
Okay.
mumble. Off we all can try to find Temerity.
You have very insolent assistants. She walk away from you.
I'm sure we'll find them somewhere. Which way did they go? Did you see?
That way, and points off in the direction.
Oh yeah, I walk north.
Okay. Actually, you know what? Buy young Esme some good running shoes. Maybe she'll be the next athlete and I'll give him a gold.
He takes it and he's like, looks up at you and just like, oh, thank you. I always knew you were the best role model. And
Don't you forget it. Tell your friends.
he's like holding on to it and he's just watching you as you walk away.
Cool. Gone.
Easy.
Cool.
I had to hold back the desire to give him a tooth of one of the cultists, or one of the cultists' teeth. It's like, oh yeah, he gave you gold, tooth.
Amazing.
Teeth generally aren't currency in most places in the world.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's not my experience, but you learn something new every day.
I think some orcs have sometimes used them.
I guess knuckles are more common than teeth, but teeth are pretty common too.
Replaceable as well with some people. They regrow, I think.
So we didn't have a plan for where we were going.
Do we see Temerity?
She has walked away.
Are there a lot of horned heads in this city?
I mean, she's like not difficult to find.
I'm not bright red. I forgot what color I am, but I'm not bright red. The thing isn't accurate, but I am not the same skin color than everyone else. Also, Also, I'm tall. I'm 6 feet tall.
Okay. There they are.
Brisk jog up. Me extremely winded.
I guess after like 30 seconds, I would have slowed down and just looked back behind me and waited for them with a very like stern, disapproving look on my face and be like, "Are you quite done yet?"
Yes. One day, you might have the same
Oh,
kind
shut
of
the fuck
situation.
up!
Well, let's turn a few corners and then let's just see if we recognize anyone.
Yeah.
Okay. Make another perception check.
So going off of, like remembering.
So with advantage.
Ooh. Awful.
Could be better. Could be better. You don't see anyone similar. A few similar uniforms, especially from guards, and a few like couriers and people doing transport, jobs. They all tend to have similar outfits, but nobody that looks the same with, same clothing. Nobody arouses suspicion.
Okay.
At some point, temerity, someone looks at you and goes, no, and walks away.
Yes, we'll find it up there.
I ignore them.
And eventually you make it back to the Silent Partners.
Okay.
Okay. Confident that we're not followed.
Yes.
Okay. Very good.
You are back inside.
Masters of stealth.
Yes, that's exactly how I would describe you.
Play armor.
Does this place smell different to you two?
Maybe there's something up your nose.
Yeah.
Breck, make a Constitution saving throw.
So you're retching. I'm going to move back a step.
You... Oh, it rolled it for me. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to roll 2, so please hold. You take 4 points of poison damage as your stomach rumbles again, and this time instead of burping, you literally throw up. It's not much, and it's not the usual kind of vomit you would expect. It is a thick gloop, and it comes up in rounds. You have to force it out, and it's bile and just it's not pleasant, and it slops onto the floor kind of like jelly.
I guess in our initial loadout, I didn't actually put any specific containers, but I would assume I'd have a couple, like a small pouch maybe with the rations in it that I can dump out and put some of the gloop in a pouch.
Oh.
Nice. So I've got a lesser restoration spell, but I don't know if they're afflicted by a poison. I think you said they weren't quite.
It was poison damage, but I wasn't poisoned.
Yeah. So can I do a quick medicine check to see if I know that a lesser restoration spell would do anything?
Go for it. No harm in trying.
Well, yeah. Medicine. I'm not great at medicine though.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about
No,
long
you're not.
rest. I didn't even think about the fact that long rest means I could have prepared different spells.
He seems fine.
Hmm.
In your professional medical opinion, you've cleaned up a lot of scrapes from falling over occasionally when you were training when you were really young, like proper new. Because let's be honest, you took on quite well to running very quickly. But no, he seems okay.
I go over to him and I smack him on the back of his head, Breckec, and pull yourself together, and then walk towards where the office is of the people.
You just need to get out your system.
Looks like there's like a bucket here at this trough. I might just pick up that bucket and carry it with me.
Okay. Just in case.
And actually, I'll dump out what I put in the pouch into the bucket and carry my sample with me for if someone can identify it.
Just in case.
Here,
Makes
Breckec,
sense. Yeah.
I found your offices
Oh,
up here.
oh. I mean, I have this bucket, but it's good to know. Should I need more than this one bucket?
It's always good to know where the nearest is, you know.
Yeah, I'll hang towards the back so that I can make a run for it if needed.
Okay. You enter the sort of common room, I guess, the mess hall, and you see the goblin sat at the table as per usual, like he was before. Spip, still writing furiously on pieces of paper, and then moving those pieces of paper over for new pieces of paper. In the far end, where she was previously, Genesis is sat, kind of this time not speaking to anybody, just sat kind of flicking her nails. And then, like right next to you, you have Avery. Facing like the door, so she's kind of almost like she's expecting you.
Hello.
Well,
Good
hello.
turn.
You're back.
I'm aware that Breckec has probably shared with you some details.
And Genesis sort of pipes in. What did you learn?
Well, for one, we learned what not to drink or / eat, didn't we?
Useful information.
They're delivering something from the pyramid to the swamp. Some meat-like substance, though it's like meat gone off, as well as a white, viscous fluid that does not appear to be edible, at least to Svirfneblin. My friends would not try. In the name of science, though, do we have an apothecary who could help me deal with the results of this experiment?
No, I think you can deal with that yourself. You put yourself in a silly situation. You never eat any mysterious substances.
Noted for future, and I run off to the bathroom.
But can you tell me the location of maybe like a nearby healer in the town?
I mean, we would know this, I think. We've grown up here.
I guess so.
Yeah, you'd be able to find one quite easily.
Is there one that we get discount at based on being part of the...
You'd have access to like personal medical stations because, you know, they want to keep you healthy, or wanted to keep you healthy because, you know, you made people a lot of money. So both you and Temerity, to be fair, would have access to medicines and stuff if you needed it without much of a problem.
So we can take him there afterwards, okay.
So, you went into the swamp.
Yes.
They were taking meat.
Okay, so first of all, we got there. We couldn't see... As soon as we got past the threshold in the swamp, which we realised is why your previous trackers probably lost them, because we got ahead of them and we waited for them. But as soon as you go through like the threshold of the swamp, it's almost lifted you into like, I don't know, a spell, some kind of force field, so you can't see into it, but you can see out of it. So that's probably why you lost them originally. We looked around. The water there is full of undead, grabby things. If you send people up there, be careful. And there were 2 like rocks with hidden passages that led down to an underground section, which they just camped at. They called it like an outpost. And then when they, when they finally arrived, we dealt with them, took one captive, talked for a little while. But they're bringing some weird, like, they called them leavings. I don't No, they make them. They're a byproduct of some sort in the pyramid, but we didn't work out what it was for because they weren't. It wasn't easy to get answers out of them, even with like some persuasive spells. There was some magic holding answers back.
That is concerning. It kind of semi-proves something we were believing before, but it's
Which
not
was
that there's some pretty hefty magic happening in there.
I missed what you explained. Did you explain the torches? Did you explain the hidden paths?
Oh, so if you did want to send a team or some people out there to check it out, we can tell you the exact directions we took. And yes, over the water with the grabby hands grab you. If you go between two torches, you'll be able to walk over it without any problems.
They seemed to activate to show the safe path when I attempted to magically dim the light or something.
Interesting. We will keep this in mind.
Did you also mention that whatever was being dropped off there, as we left, something large was coming, potentially to consume it?
So we killed one undead stone giant, but we heard footsteps, or Breck heard footsteps of something else coming. Could be another one, could be something worse. We didn't hang around.
Wise, there's no point. Keep putting yourself in unnecessary danger.
We had the opportunity to interrogate who seemed to be the leader of the band dropping the things.
Tell me, what did you learn of the old city?
We learned that they have some magical means to know who enters and who leaves. And specifically, this is tied to Semefi themselves.
See, that's interesting because we never actually had it confirmed that Semefi was a real thing. We just thought
that was amazing to me. And I interrupt her, and I
you can see there's a flash of annoyance on her face, but she does let you speak.
That was my first thought as well, and now that's the possibility that Semefi is a living being. Is this a living mortal being? Is Semefi a god? Something during the interrogation probed my mind.
Well, apparently Semefi is also, whatever that may be, is also the one who chooses the cult members.
Yes.
And if you become a cult member, or Semefi just knows that you are worthy, and you forgo your name and part of you, and you proceed to the initiation, where I suppose you lose your ear. Although one of the people also lost his eyes.
Yes, the one that seemed more in command had also given eyes, and also was given no name, though we were able to discern. Did certainly have a name prior to the cult claiming that as some form of initiation, though when we tried to pry for details on what the initiation entailed besides the removal of the ear, it was as if there was an outside magical force resisting our own magical attempts to pry truth from the lips of this cultist. And it was at that time that the unseeing gaze of this cultist pierced my mind, and I believe they, at least locally, whether or not there were other observers, saw the experiences of my last day prior to arriving there, including our meeting with you. We have since taken care of that cultist's ability to shed that secret, but whether or not it was shared at that time to Semefi through other means, I know not.
This is all strange. Not what we were expecting of you, honestly, but any knowledge is better than no knowledge.
Well, we do know how to get into the old city.
That's good. That's good. It's a good start. Do you intend on entering?
Of course.
Good, good. We would like you to proceed sooner rather than later. We will send people some newer recruits, maybe, with an experienced commander to investigate the swamp a bit more. We never thought to send someone ahead on a day that was stupid of us. We will proceed, as should you.
I would worry that they may send a more guarded caravan in lieu of the soon-to-be-discovered missing caravan. They also will discover that they had two members in the hidden hideout underneath the stones. Those two cultists have also been dispatched, so potentially their first caravan may be quite a bit more armed and prepared to retake.
I don't think they will. If Sarado is correct, and there was something off on the roads, and they already know, and are watching us, following us, knowing that we know, they could have sent something immediately. They could have sent something out immediately. And on the way back, we didn't see anything. So my initial thought was that they would, if they don't know, they'll find out tonight when the group doesn't return. However, if Sarado is right and we are being followed or we are being watched, then they already know. Then they already know who we are. Through Breckec, they know what our intention is, and they would be smarter to do reinforcements on the inside rather than the outside.
Maybe it's worth, Genesis, if you maybe keep a watch or get someone to keep a watch on the pier of the old city exit tonight. See if they react.
Very well.
Them not coming back, or if they rush out, or if they send another caravan the same day, which is obviously unusual. I don't know. Might be.
Okay. We can do that. We can set a watch on the gate and keep an eye. That's a good idea.
Potentially life-saving piece of information for anyone heading back to that swamp is we explored no further than the island that the hidden rock hideouts were on, and when we fled, there seemed to be something large and ominous coming from deeper within the swamp. That may be something to keep an eye on.
We will inform the group we send, and we will make sure that everyone is well prepared. I think you should prepare, and tomorrow, spend today, take the day, prepare, do as you need, then tomorrow, make your way into the older city. We can get you passage into the outer city, sorry. That won't be too much of a problem. Your route into the old city is your own. We will make sure someone is on watch there, and they will report to me, and I will report to you if they see anything.
Sounds good. We need to get you to a healer, Breckec.
Yes. One last question. I kind of swing around the documentsy satchel to the front and say, I've been keeping our mission status as up to date as possible, but to whom am I addressing the letters so I know what level of brevity is appropriate?
You are reporting directly to me.
Of course. How could I have any doubt with such handwriting? I pull out that note and say, the implication of this organization was but a moment of mental weakness, and I will not let it happen again, and I sacred flame burn that paper.
Okay.
And then I run to the bathroom.
It burns away and you run away. And
He's so dramatic.
You're all kind of nice. I like how did you roll a 24 and then literally 2 minutes later roll 23 on a natural 20?
That's a good... I did the one private to you, but that's true. They're both con saves.
Did you guide yourself?
Maybe it did the guidance automatically.
Maybe. Because you rolled 17 plus 3 plus 4. Interesting.
Yeah.
So Genesis kind of bids you good day. Unless there's anything else you need, you are free to go. And the rest in the room, Spip doesn't even acknowledge you, doesn't even look up from his pages. The dwarf lady in the corner doesn't really turn around. She's kind of eating some bread, and soup, and just kind of doesn't even acknowledge you. Avery kind of gives you a charming wave as you leave.
Before leaving the room, I do pull out the map he originally drew us, on which I drew a rough approximation of both our kind of how we went off the trail on the way, as well as the rough layout of the torches and things that I sketched while we were there.
Okay.
I just lay that on the desk and say, for your archives.
Sounds good. Okay, where to?
I guess to the best or the closest. Closest healer I know.
Okay. Roll just a quick intelligence check for me. It's been so long since you've needed any form of healing, because you're such a perfect physical specimen.
Mm-hmm.
It's temerity that chimes in with a suggestion for a somewhat quirky but also very reliable alchemist and occasional magic shop vendor or magical item vendor.
I did bring the bucket with as well, so
just in case.
Yeah, well, and it has the sample in case it helps them identify what I may need.
Very conscientious. You come into the this shop it's a fair bit out of your way. It's about 45 minutes around, sort of further south, and it's a tiny building kind of squashed in on one floor of like a 4 or 5 story building, squashed in amongst other 4 or 5 story buildings. And you come inside and you're just hit with like an overwhelming amount of smells, some good, some bad. There's smoke rising from a few pots. There's like lanterns burning with sort of scents coming from them, but they're kind of overpowered by varying other smells around the shop. And as you walk in, there is nobody in this first room. You look around and there's, to your left, there's like books that are kind of some sprawled open, some are closed and organized neatly. In the center of the room, there's just a table with a whole sort of array of potions and varying vials of stuff. On the left hand side, there's like a raised platform that has just a selection of armor pieces, of some general writing equipment, and then everyday bits and pieces. Ahead of you, there's like a counter with just a varying array of weaponry. And then on the right hand side, there's some varying magical objects.
This is a shop that Temerity knew. Is this one that is within the partner's domain?
Yes, as you walked in, you did see the symbol of the partners, the sort of like shh across the top of the door. So it would be classed as a partner establishment, as well as someone who Temerity has been to previously for various heals and such.
Did we feel followed by any chance on the way across the 45 minutes?
No, this time. I mean, you're more than welcome to make another check if you like, but generally there was no like feeling of being watched.
Why not?
No, seemed actually quite clear. Keeping up the sort of looking out for similar people kind of thing. It was actually pretty easy, pretty easy going on the way here.
I'll
Quite a nice
gets a shelf while Breckec hopefully gets something done.
Not seeing a shopkeeper. I've shifted, forgetting the reason we're here, and curiosity for all the things I see, kind of one-arming the bucket under my mouth here as I browse with the other arm, like, I could use some more parchment.
Temerity and Sarador, you do see eventually this sort of half-elf, tall, lithe a person walk through a door, like wearing almost stunningly white robes with a hood over his head, hiding a face that's got a very pointy chin and sort of slightly hooked nose. And he walks out and he's holding a book and a few books in his arm, and also a cup of something that's sort of steaming. And he looks up and he's, "Oh, Temerity. I was not expecting to see you."
Afternoon. My friend here needs help.
What appears to be the problem?
Swallowed something that you shouldn't have swallowed, and is feeling not his best. Maybe you could just take a quick look and see if you can help him.
Of course, of course.
I can probably show you. And I contribute more to the bucket, and then hold it up.
He kind of takes 2 long steps towards you and looks into the bucket and immediately recoils. The smell from the bucket is kind of overpowering everything in the room. And he says, Oh, my friend, that is something.
Right?
My name is Aranis. I run the shop. I think I can help you with this. And he takes a step over to the shelf. That simple word, shelf. And he kind of starts rooting through a few things, and eventually he pulls out it looks almost like a pendant on a chain. And it's it basically it's a simple design. It's like a little circular gem in the middle, and then little prongs of different metals poking out from either side that come to sort of flat edges at the end. And as he picks it up, it starts to glow a sort of yellowy gold color, and he hands it to you, and he says, "If you wear this, it will help heal you in the next few hours. It should stop it should stop the evacuations, at least."
So just which end do I wear it in?
You just put it over your neck and wear it like a necklace.
Oh. Okay.
Yes.
Just a couple hours and that's it?
Yes. And as you sort of place it and it makes contact with your chest, you feel immediately there's like a soothe, just sort of slowly, very slowly. Basically, it's starting right in the middle of your chest, and you can feel it kind of creeping out very slowly from your chest, and it's kind of getting rid of the constant heartburn you've had and like acid reflux, and you like over time it starts to spread more and more and more, dealing with the side effects and symptoms you are suffering from.
I can feel its effect already. What do you call this?
This is known as a periaptive health. I have modified it slightly. Gets rid of lingering effects.
Interesting. And does it do this, I feel its effect already. 2 hours, that will have me fully cured up. Does it continue to work?
Yes.
Or
yes.
Wow. Do you sell any parchment? Ink?
I have much parchment. What do you wish?
I have no idea. This many. I want to refill my pack with enough to write.
He heads back out the back and he kind of places his like cup of hot beverage on the desk as he walks past, and then he returns and he's just got like a stack of just crisp, like freshly made parchment, and he hands it to you and he's like, "I can bind it for you if you like."
Oh, yes. How much would that be?
Oh, for you, nothing. You are partners, yes?
Oh, well, yes. Thank you. And I take it and exchange the bucket, if he'll take it. Take it from my hand.
He does. And then after he's taken it, he's sort of, there's the moment of realization where he's like, "Oh, why did I do that?" And so now he's holding onto the bucket and he just places it on the ledge over on this side. And he says, I will look into that. I don't quite understand what it is, but I'll look.
It could be, it's tied to, and I kind of look, make sure, there's no one else has entered the shop, and I what I know is he a member of the partners, or just this shop is
in your limited experience with things like this, they're not necessarily partners themselves. They might just be associates.
Would such people know who the leader of the partners is?
They know of her.
Members. Okay.
A lot of people know of her, not even if necessarily not by name, but they know her by reputation.
I guess I'll just kind of tippy-toe lean in, like, the partners would appreciate knowledge of anything related to where this may have come from, what it may be of.
He takes his glass.
Ensure you spend a good long time with it.
He takes his cup and he kind of raises it slightly and takes a swig. Temerity.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything I can do for you and your friend?
No.
Sarador?
Do you have any interest in magical items, maybe?
I have a vast array of magical items. Anything in particular?
Something that would be useful for a melee fighter paladin such as myself.
Oh, well, very vague. But I
Well,
think
I've got a good belt. My weapon's pretty good already. Maybe
okay.
a cloak of some sort? Maybe a necklace of some sort?
Interesting.
Ring, maybe? I'm in the market.
You're in the market. Well, I do have. Whoops. I don't want two of those. He sort of turns and faces the wall with the shelf that has all of the kind of magical trinkets. My cloak supply is awfully low at the moment. But... Is there anything you're in need of? I have a few rings. Anything you found yourself in need of, or are you just sort of browsing?
Nothing desperately in need of. I'm just browsing for anything that might stand out, that might be beneficial.
Well, well, I do have something that might be of interest to you. And he pulls out what looks like he reaches in, and it's he pulls out like this kind of urn, essentially, that's sort of made of clay. It's simply designed. It's not anything particularly special. And he pours out the contents, and in his hand are just like a smattering, 4 or 5 different rings, some slightly more well adorned than others. And he picks out one, and it's very simply designed. It's gold banding with like a sort of ruby-esque inlay, like all the way around. This one is very interesting. It will allow you to cast telekinesis at will once a day. I believe once a day. Maybe once a day. No, at will. And very useful, if that's the sort of thing you're after.
It's utility, that's for sure.
Perhaps a bit too situational.
Yes, but you never know. It could be useful. Put that in the maybe section. How about we've got a mission that requires maybe being a bit more sneaky.
Sneaky, you say?
Like, is there anything to disguise ourselves, even from magical means, perchance?
He's kind of tapping his chin very dramatically, and he has another rummage through. I do have one item that might be of interest. And he pulls out, it's a very current, it looks like something a lady would wear to Ascot. Like it's a hat that comes out maybe 2 feet either way, like all the way round, and it's just got feathers and plumage essentially erupting from the top, and it looks a bit ostentatious, I know, but bear with me. And he pops it on, and it changes, and then his whole body seems to like swirl, and then he's turned from like his half elf form with white robes into a human looking creature, slightly shorter, dark clothing, kind of looks ragged and rough and worn, and his face is haggard and scarred and like windswept.
That looks
And it
useful.
doesn't look like he's even wearing a hat anymore.
If can I be very specific when I make, like, if I wanted to say, like, have like one arm instead of two arms, could that also work with doing this?
I don't see why not. It is basically a disguised self in a hat.
Oh, I like it, because I can't do that. How much for the hat?
Again, for partners, no charge.
Really?
We get subsidized well, don't worry.
Oh. So yes, and it doesn't need a tuning. I just put it on whenever I need to disguise self. Is that correct?
Indeed.
Fantastic. Perfect. I'll take it.
Okay.
Thank you.
I've been sketching the amulet that he gave me on the parchment that he gave me.
Okay.
As well as kind of just sketching the interior a little bit. And I, as they conclude that, I pull out of my pocket the potion of flying and say, "What about this? Do you have anything like this?"
Would you like more of those?
Yes. Do you have more of those?
I have something similar, I believe. He heads over to the table by the door, and he opens like a few, like a catch, and basically it's one of those things that just opens in cascades, and there's just more and more shells. And he starts sort of like tinkling through the bottles and reading the labels. That to me looks like a potion of flying, but that is different to mine. Mine is a different color, but it has the same effect. You fly. I have two. You are welcome to them.
I think, yes, both Temerity and Cerador. I think, would you each want one?
Well, if I may say so, Cerador, I have seen your exploits, and you basically fly just by the speed you move. Imagine being muted and accepting the praise.
Wow, I'm actually muted. Well, thank you. Now you know why I need a hat of disguise sometimes as well. Sometimes get under the radar. Yeah.
I can imagine being you is difficult sometimes.
He gives the best autographs.
Okay, so I'll put 2 potions of flying in your inventory, Breckec. So you've got you should have 3 now, but one's different.
Yep.
Any more potions? I have a few.
Temerity, I mean, anything, because now we've got Breckec, I assume you can disguise yourself, is that correct?
I can. I would demonstrate, but I can't do it at will. I can only do it so much.
And I've got the hat. I wonder if there's anything...
I have just the thing. And he like runs back over, and you see him like scrambling through, pulling some things off the shelf, and he pulls out like this long, thin stick that's kind of almost conical. Like starts almost imperceptibly thin and gets a bit sort of thicker as it gets to the end, and then there's like an almost orange glow at the end of it, and he turns with a big beaming smile. This is just what you need. Would you allow me to demonstrate?
Sure.
He flicks it at Temerity, and you turn into a butterfly.
Great.
This is a wand of polymorph. Lasts an hour. Limited uses per day, but very powerful.
Oh. That is good. So theoretically, we could, two of us could be disguised, and one of us could be.
It does need to be attuned to by a spellcaster, but as long as you look after it.
Well, maybe Breckec could attune to you if you've got the requirements to.
I believe I do and could.
Then you could cast it on Temerity or me if needed, or yourself, depending on the situation.
Does it only do butterflies?
No, I just wanted to demonstrate with something flamboyant.
I look at Temerity Butterfly and say, how does it feel?
Obviously, she can't speak.
No, she cannot.
Rude, and I say, well, sure, I'm sure that will be of great help to us and to the partners. And I'll take that, and I will even figure out how to attune to it later.
Okay. Please hold. Are you okay for weapons? I have weapons.
I don't know. I've got some magical great axe.
I mean, there's some clumps I need to clean off of these, but I have a mace. It's just a normal mace.
You pull it out and it does still have like strings of hair attached to it and a little bit of skull because you forgot to clean it earlier. That's yesterday.
I guess Temerity, your weapons are mainly your fists, but you use a staff, don't you? As well?
You can't talk.
She's still a butterfly.
I think, yeah, maybe maybe if you've got any good staffs for Temerity, maybe.
No, don't give her anything.
Can't. She's a butterfly.
I walk over to. Are these rusty or bloody swords on the table?
I mean, technically they're bloody, but they're not. They're clean.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, look, they match, but.
As you're kind of looking around, you just hear, "Oh, I'm sorry, Temerity," and he flicks the wand again and cancels the spell, and you just turn back into yourself, 5 feet in the air, and then you fall.
Great.
And somewhat undignified, you land on the ground. Oh, I have something that you might find useful. Tell me, does this mission involve infiltrating somewhere difficult?
It does.
Well, and he leans down, and there's a rug on the ground, sort of just past where you're standing, and he grabs it, hamming it up, making it like a proper show, and he flicks it, and it seems like nothing happened until the rug on the ground rises. It is now just floating 5 feet off the ground.
Does this fly?
It does.
About potions, even.
This is more used for long-term travel, perhaps, or if you need to get over tall things.
How high is it floating?
It's literally 5 feet off the ground at the moment.
I'm gonna try and just jump and grab the edge of it.
You grab it, and it manages to hold your weight, and you're having to hold yourself, like you're straining to hold yourself onto it.
Whoa!
It's a fairly hefty size. It's like 5 feet by 7 feet, so it's long and relatively thin, but It looks like enough that could hold the three of you.
I let go and drop to the ground.
How high can it go?
As high as you need.
Okay.
How low can it go? Because that's inconvenient for some people, I've heard.
We'll throw you up there. Don't worry about it.
This, I mean, I'm sure you'll find a way. It travels fairly swiftly, and as long as one of you is in control, someone trustworthy, of course, then could be very useful.
How do you control it?
I've never tested it myself. It would be an adventure to try. But why not? Why not?
Well, I'm not in control of myself most of the time. I mean, and I point at the bucket and hold up the necklace. But one of you other two, certainly.
I don't see why not. And it's free to you, of course. Friends, partners. Free.
Would this... would it fit into, like, let's say... How would we store it?
Put it in the bag of holding.
Would it fit inside the bag of holding?
Of course! And he grabs hold of it again and flicks it and it falls to the ground, and then he just starts rolling it up. Just like a normal carpet.
Okay, I'll open the bag.
Does it feel pain?
I'm not aware of any sentience on its part now.
Oh.
Why?
Oh, no reason, and I'm making notes to myself.
He's a healer, kind of.
I see. I see. Well,
I'm just used to working with partners who feel pain.
makes sense. Makes sense.
So we've got a floating rod then.
Apparently so.
Well, that's useful. We can get places with that.
Are you going anywhere near water?
I hope not.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't... unaware.
What do you have that helps with water?
He pulls off like a Rubik's cube-sized box, essentially, and he lifts the lid and then drops it to the floor, and it just unfolds into a like sort of little skiff.
Guess we could just use the rug if we needed to, in place of a boat, I guess.
Yes.
How rigid is that boat against, say, like the arms of the undead? Hypothetically.
There's a bemused look on his face.
Mm.
Probably not well.
Still, there may be others within the partners that find use for that.
Of course.
But
excuse me.
I think, I mean, obviously we could take free gifts all day.
You could.
But I feel your generosity has been exceeding already. At least I'm happy to no longer be making deposits in the bucket of science, as it were.
Excellent. Well, I hope you put them to good use. And try not to destroy them or lose them. These items were very difficult to come by. Very difficult.
Well, thank you for your help.
That's okay. It's fine.
I'm sure we'll see you again in the future.
Indeed. I look forward to it. Temerity, it's always a pleasure. You'll win one
Likewise.
day.
I on the way out, I write my catchphrase I'm trying out of I'm not puking in a bucket anymore. Breckec. And I hand him the paper and say, my autograph, good sir. And I walk out.
He takes it with a smile and looks at it. Thank you, Breckec. And he kind of slips it into his robe. Oh, I forgot the hat of disguise.
Oh.
He's still wearing it. He takes it off and he turns back into the half-elf with like the white robes and everything.
Are the other two already out? Is this being handed to me as its giant form now?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You go, oh, okay.
It's taller than you are if you held it on its end.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not putting it on my head because I don't want to wear the big ridiculous hat, so I guess I'm just waddling out sideways out the door. And hey, is there any more room in that bag for this?
Yes, thank you. I'll grab it off you.
Okay.
I think it's already on my
I think I put everything in your inventories.
Nice.
Okay. So you have the rest of the day. At this point, it's getting to late morning. Sort of late morning, midday-ish.
Must be late afternoon because we traveled back for 6 hours.
Good point. Yes, I'm glad you reminded me because I forgot. It's late afternoon, early evening. You've got the night basically before you're expected to make your way into the old city. Are you going to stay in the outer ring now, or are you going to get into the outer city and go from there?
Did Genesis say they were able to assist us in entering?
No. Yeah. The outer city.
Yeah. Maybe we can stay there. I guess we could go back to our own relative lodgings, but we should probably stick together if we may be being watched potentially.
If we spend the night on the inside of the gate, when we wake up and enter the street from already inside, I think that means tomorrow we would have less scrutiny on us than entering the gate on a new day. It does put us in a more unfriendly environment for the night, but it might make tomorrow easier.
Depends where we're sleeping. Where would we sleep in there?
Surely there's hotels, although we would have to pay full rate, and from what I hear,
it's expensive.
Yeah, they're a little well off in there. Not what we're used to.
I mean, we just got plenty of stuff for free, and I was expecting to pay. I mean, I'm sure we got the money for a fancy hotel. It might be our last night anyway, so
just for a night, true. We can. I guess it depends on the means by which they're able to get us in, and if once we're in, scrutiny of whether or not we belong is lessened, or.
To be fair,
we'll...
money is not something that you were all lacking, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I am a little bit.
Well, Genesis said that we should take today anyway to prepare ourselves. So I would assume only tomorrow morning they would provide us with the means to getting into the outer city.
So stay somewhere comfortable, but within friendly territory tonight.
I assume we all have homes?
Yeah, I've got a
You do?
decent home.
Yeah.
You should as well, I imagine.
Just maybe, everyone goes home. And tomorrow morning we...
I don't have a home. I just find a nice comfy rock to meld into for the night, but...
Then you do that.
Okay.
I mean, sure we don't want to stick together. We can just go to one of our homes.
You're inviting me over?
As long as you get that necklace on, yes.
I don't even vomit anymore, yeah. And I follow along. And as we're walking, I guess, Temerity, are you coming, or?
Yeah, sure.
as we're walking along, I do ask, Serador. So did you hear my catchphrase? How is that? I'm not even puking in a bucket anymore.
You want something that's good? I mean, it is like a positive thing, I guess.
Positive and true.
Positive and true. Maybe think long term, something, because this was like a, in a week's time. Maybe something about you personally. Good first draft, but you can do better, I
Things
think.
and get sick, but not always. I'll keep working on it.
It's a work in progress.
Yes. Maybe something along the lines of never eat blah blah blah. I don't know. Yeah.
Never eat yellow snow.
That is fact.
No idea
Why,
what snow is.
What is yellow snow?
You'll find out one day.
To Whomst is taking the responsibility of hosting.
I can do, unless you prefer your place to Temerity.
I don't really care. As long as I can sleep somewhere, I'm happy.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I vote Serador's because I've been to Temerity's home before.
Okay.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
It's mine.
To Sarador's. You head off. You lead everyone to your home, not home. And you all just settle down, chill, try and calm down after the day. And you get comfy, show them around, show them where they're sleeping, and it's a nice enough house. It's comfortable.
Let me show you my trophy room.
He does have a room dedicated to trophies. There's just one wall, and it's, there is the occasional second place hidden in there, but it's, mostly golds.
I'd like to think there's like a really like, not ornate, but really like a high detailed, chiseled carving that is maybe like 3/4 finished. That I obviously have like someone around to work on regularly in like the front room, well, the main room.
Of course.
I thought you were a champion, but I don't see nearly as many bronze medals as I saw at Temerity's house. Bronze is the best, right?
No, it's not. But you know what? Finishing the race is also important.
As you are settling down for the night, you've had your tour, you've had your, you've settled down, had your food and everything. There's a knock at the door.
I wasn't expecting anyone. I guess I'd have my armor on still until night time, so
Okay.
Go and answer the door.
As you answer the door, the guard that you spoke to earlier on in the day, when you first made it back to the city,
Okay.
he stood at the door, and he's looking far less cheerful than he was before. And he's just stood there. It's pitch black outside. It's probably late into the night now, maybe even approaching midnight. And he's just stood at the door, taking deep breaths, shoulders rising and lowering, and his eyes are just fixed forwards at you.
Okay. Hello. What's this?
No response.
Okay. Guys, there's join me at the door.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Don't let him in. Don't let him in.
Up behind Serador. say, you're a fan.
Yes. And no one else with them?
Nope.
No, it's pitch black. But... Speak.
As you're asking these, you're kind of waiting for the other two to arrive, and stay keeping an eye, making sure he doesn't do anything. His eyes are locked on you, whereas they were brown when you met him earlier. Just like a normal, everyday brown. The brown from his irises is spreading out into the eyeball itself, and then the color continues out of his eyeball over his face, which is impressive because he's already got quite brown skin. He's his dark skin, and the brown continues and continues and continues, and then starts to toughen and seemingly thicken as the body grows, and the sort of mess of black hair that he had before seems to thin out as the body grows, and to a point where approximately 10 feet tall, hulking down, shoulders scrunched over, his hand has grown proportionally and seems to have grown claws, and he smashes it into the door frame, preventing you from closing it. And then his other one reaches in and pulls apart the door so that there's a big gap.
I think as soon as he touches, well, it's pretty obvious straight away. I'm just going to probably, I'm drawing the sword and I'm swiping if he's going to do that.
Okay, we'll do that next week, I guess.
Yeah. I was waiting for you to finish, describing it, but //
Okay, good job, guys. You didn't die. Good, simple, easy session. We'll pick that up next week. And we'll see what happens.
My bloody house as well. Can we go to Temerity's and ruin there?
You said you wanted to go to your house.
Yes.
It's fine.
Get a new door.
It's alright. If you complete this mission, you'll be rich enough to not have to worry about it.
Okay.
But no, we'll pick that up next week. That gives me time to find a map as well. I was struggling to find a map. But yeah, good job, guys. You have done well so far to not die. You also have leveled up. So you're now level 7. So we'll do hit points. So we'll start with Temerity.
I have no idea what it is. Is it a
D8? It's a D8.
If you level up, doesn't it give you the option to roll it then as that?
I think so.
Oh, could be. I've never done it on Forge.
Try it.
Yeah, if you do that, roll. I'll wait for you. So if you click the box on that's level 6, blah blah blah. Click on that, and then you should have the options come up.
It's okay. We'll take the 7.
I was about to say, yeah.
I hit that anyway. Yeah, it's already rolled a 7.
Then we'll go for Breckec.
7 plus 2, right? Because you've got to add your con.
Where did you roll?
No, her roll. The 7.
Yeah,
is
so
the
7
D8.
plus 2, so you get 9.
Yeah.
I thought you'd roll the 9.
Ooh.
Oh, nice. So you get 11 hit points. Nice. 10. Okay, you're all getting very chunky. I like it.
Automatically does it as well. Nice.
So, for next week, make sure you're all, upgraded to 7th level. The level up happened during the session, so you're set for all of your stuff.
Did it happen before our last long rest?
Yeah, it happened it happened as you left the swamp, but leveling up during the session is.
Yeah.
So.
So okay. I can prepare new spells potentially.
You can prepare new spells, yeah. You should
Okay.
get level 4 spells now.
To look at my business.
So yeah, you guys get to sort that, and we'll see what happens next week. Everyone who's been lurking and watching, thank you for hanging out.
We're not playing next week.
We're not playing next week. Next Saturday is my birthday. So this session, the Ancient Unknowns won't be happening. We'll have Scales of Destiny either side of it. There might be a stream from me. We'll see. I probably will, because I did it last year. It's quite fun. And I haven't streamed for bloody ages. But also Beerus is away. So he's doing things too. But Scales is back on Tuesday. And then the following Tuesday, I believe.
No, we're not. Maybe not. We don't know yet. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll let you know on Discord. Check out Discord if you wish to know. When we finally decide what we're doing. Other than that, it is time to say goodbye. Thank you, Rando. And then, yeah, time to say goodbye for this week. We'll see you on Tuesday. Definitely Tuesday. And then after that, we'll see. So yeah, time to say goodbye. So I need to be on the right page. There we go. Goodbye, everyone. It's always a pleasure. Are we raiding someone, Yathina? We are. Nice. So goodbye, everyone. Have a good rest of your night. Have a good rest of your weekend.